Yeah, I don't ever remember feeling like this. But I'm out here in these YouTube streets. So I want you to get your fingers.
I don't know what you're doing.
I want you to
right
get
now,
your mouse.
I want you to check me out.
And I want you to check me out.
Get ready to do this. It's the relationship rehab. Like, share, and subscribe. We coming at you live. So come on, let's take a ride. Then subscribe to United Guns of America. Just click that link and listen up to what I'm telling you. It's the relationship rehab.
Click that link right now. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy Brian Redmond, and I just want y'all to subscribe to my channel. You know what I'm saying? I want you to let me know what you think. I'm gonna talk about some things, you can talk about some things, and we can do our thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's all about having a conversation, right? I mean, if we can't talk to each other, then, I mean, what are we really here for? I want y'all to be able to just come over to my channel, talk to me about what's going on with you, and I can tell you what's going on with me, and we can build some things, you know what I'm saying? That's all about growth, baby. So click that link, go ahead and swipe on your phone, whatever you gotta do. Share my content. It's just get me out here, baby. Cause we just talking, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I like doing what I'm doing because it's about the people. It's about us having a conversation with each other. It's about us discussing whatever needs to be discussed. And on these YouTube streets, this is the best place to do it, baby. Like, share, subscribe. That's right. Click the link. Click the link. Yeah. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's out here that's already subscribed. You know what I'm saying? Cause y'all ain't the first one, and y'all ain't the last one. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody that done click the link, that done click the share, and then subscribe to your boy. Cause we gon' blow this thing together, baby. Relationship rehabbing, United Guns of America. To the world blow up, baby. Yeah. Click the link, baby. Click the link, baby. Yeah. Hey, I just want to send a shout out to all y'all. I love y'all. That's why I do this. It's for the love of us, baby. I appreciate all of y'all. Ooh, we gon' do this thing. We gon' do this thing right here, baby. Hey, look, if you at a computer right now, just go ahead and click your link. What else you got to lose, baby? Tell me what you think. Hit the comment section. You can jump on the live panel. We do it all here. That's what it's all about. So come holler at your boy. I've been doing this for years, but I just got onto this YouTube thing. So hey, let's see what it do and where it can go.
To United Guns of America. Just click the link and listen up to what I'm telling you, telling you.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Brian Redmond, and yes, I am finally well enough to go live, and we are back with yet another show on tonight. Unfortunately, my voice is still not back to 100%, so ain't gonna be no singing. It's just gonna be some talking tonight. But I just want to say I'm happy to be here tonight. I'm glad that I was able to finally get well enough to do a show. I had a cold that was just kicking my butt, and I thought for a second that I had COVID, but I didn't. So I was all good on that perspective. It was just a summer cold. I don't know. I guess usually for me, once, maybe twice a year, I'll catch a cold. I'll usually catch a cold maybe once or twice a year, and I'll be down for about 2 or 3 days. This one had me down for, maybe since, I think I got sick Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday I got sick. So it was like Tuesday, I think that's when I started not feeling well. Tuesday night. So it was Wednesday. Wednesday morning when I woke up. No, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning is when I woke up and I just wasn't feeling good, and it was downhill from there. Then by Friday, I started getting on the other side of it. So yeah, I don't know. I think it was one of those nights. The temperature had changed and it got too cold in the house, and yeah. But I'm back. I'm good. I'm on the other side of this thing and I'm feeling better. So I said, I need to go live. I got actually like 3 shows that I need to do. But this one tonight, I figured would be probably the most fitting one because the other 2,
I know the other one, the one I'm gonna do probably tomorrow, that one's gonna be that one's gonna be a doozy. We gonna have ourselves a funky good time with that one. But this show tonight I thought was more of a necessity, just because, especially for those of you of us that are here in Texas, um, with the election and stuff coming up, I think it's one of those really important things. So I think I said, well, let me go ahead and get this out here and get this content out into the atmosphere so people can, just see things from a different perspective. So, excuse me. With that being said, I do have a little cough still. I'll be drinking water, and I got myself some cough drops if I need to. So we should be good. But I wanted to actually stay in true fashion to what I said I was gonna do as far as the show with the relationship rehab. I wanted to make sure that I was still actually doing those, and I actually do have a question for tonight's show. So if I can find it, we can go ahead and we can do that, and we will get started. Where is it at? Oh wait, I think I'm on the wrong one. Well, let me check. Let me check and see. Yep, that's somebody who hit me up with that. They wanted to show me something, and then there we go. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Found it. So it's a long story, but I gotta read it, and it's a good one though. I really did. And I would tell you all this for those of you who don't know. I'm just changing up the format a little bit, doing something different. If as opposed to doing like a commentary or something like that, which I will still do from time to time. But if you have a question, a relationship rehab oriented question, or a question about United Guns of America, something that's gun related, whatever the case may be, send me those questions via Facebook, or you can email me at therelationshiprehab.com. Or, I mean, I'm not therelationshiprehab.com, that's gone. Therelationshiprehab at gmail.com. Or you can go to the Relationship Rehab Facebook and hit me on Instant Messenger, or join both of those pages, the Relationship Rehab, and you can send it to me that way. So that's what most people have been doing. They've been doing it through Facebook, which is very cool. So here we go. The question is, should I feel like I failed my marriage or failed my daughter in providing her with a nuclear household, or a traditional family, nuclear family household? Context: I'm divorced. My 2-year-old was conceived in my marriage of wasn't long at all. I was out of the house the month before she was born. Our relationship wasn't that bad. In all honesty, clearly I loved her and was in love with her. I married her. Her kids loved me as I was their picture of dad. One father came around when he wanted to. The daughter, her oldest, her dad never came around. Okay. So the situation that made me leave was, and y'all can hear me, right? Yeah. The situation that made me leave was her oldest, the daughter, 9 years old at the time. She was my shadow. Well, someone in her, oh, dang it, I hit that damn drop down. Hold on. Oh, my goodness. There we go. Her, well, someone in her mom's, well, my now wife's circle, believed I was possibly touching the little girl. She was on the phone after an argument, and I recorded it. The person on the phone insinuated I was doing something nefarious. On top of on top of that, at some point in our relationship, she, the mom, my now wife at that time, told the little girl not to go anywhere with me, which leads me to believe this has been a thought for a while. But I was defended. Or I guess offended, I don't know. The little girl saw me as her dad and treated her as her brother as treated her and her brother as if they were my own. So he treated them as if they were his own. Girls gravitate to their dad, so naturally she followed me everywhere and wanted to be around me. Understood. Anyway, we argued. I recorded the whole thing and was literally gone the next day. My brother
came, helped me get my stuff, whatever I left, I said fuck it. Blah 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 blah. Can I read this part? Yes, Brian, I've been in Soto Nation for over 11 years since Tommy came to YouTube. Shout out to Tommy Sotomayor. Um, to YouTube. I followed you since the Goober and the Whore, coldest goddamn show on YouTube, baby. And I followed DJ Just Jay since he started. Shout out to DJ Just Jay. Right. This is the part I got. I can't say that part. And yup. All right. One thing I won't do is harm a child in any way. On top of her being the mother of our daughter, which I have shared custody of in the aftermath of the divorce. Wow. So if you thought I was doing that, why think I'm a great father now to your daughter? Right. I believe her single friends put that in her mind, in her head, to ruin her marriage. And since I left, she has done nothing but ruin my life, child support, and so on. The point to where every breath she takes is a detriment to my life. I have a hatred for her like Anakin hates the Force. Wow. But I bottle it up to keep the peace and for my daughter. Am I wrong for leaving and fuck it and saying fuck it? I guess that's what he said. In hindsight, putting my daughter in a situation of coming from a broken home. All right, so excuse me. I'm gonna say this, and this is one of the reasons why I like doing this, is because you know, even though I know who this is, I don't know this person, so I don't have a dog in this fight, so I can call a thing a thing. I can literally do that, and it's one of the reasons why I like this. Number one, that's not your daughter. I know some people gonna be mad. Some people gonna be like, "Why you say that? That ain't how." That's not your daughter, and the reason why, and the fact that it's not your daughter, what your ex-wife did, she reminded you of that. She reminded you of that. And this is one of those things to where even and I have done this myself, but for my sake, I was a lot more wiser in this situation because my wife has a older son, and we fell out not because of something I did or something somebody said. We fell out because of his father's jealousy of our relationship that we developed. What it is, what it was. But with that being said, this is just yet another reason why I, even though I have done it, when it comes to us as black folk, because most black women do not value black men, whenever a man supposedly, what they now try to call and say, step up and be a father to a child that is not biologically his, this is what happens. This is more than likely to happen at some point in that relationship. It just is. When you're talking about stepping into a role and being a father to a child that is not yours, that's exactly what it is. That child is not yours. And at some point, whether it's because of the parents, whether it's because of other family members, whether it's because of the child at that teenager point in their life where they get rebellious and they think they know every damn thing and they want to do things their way and they think they grown. When you're not biologically the father, you have this that happens. You have these things that happen. Yep, you can have friends of the family and your wife's best friend or aunties or whatever. They can lie and say, yeah, he touched her. Or I think he doing something with her because she always with him. That comes along with it. That comes along with it. And my thing is, it wasn't a thing of you, being wrong because you left. The thing is that what would it be like if you stayed? What would it be like if you stayed? And it's like you should not don't and I know that you can get with a single mother and y'all can have some really good sex, y'all can have a lot of fun and all that good stuff. But here's the thing. When you're talking about a long-term relationship, when you're talking about building a life, building a family, and having children with that single parent, that single woman, you have to realize that this is one of the likely, not saying, oh, this is just the outline. No, this is more than likely something that's going to happen out of one of those, handful of things that's going to come up to drive a wedge between you guys. This is what happens. So this is why it's not a good idea to do this. You have to be in a situation, literally, where like the planets have to be aligned, and it has to be a thing to where that woman truly values you as a man, not value you because of the resources you bring, not value you because she ain't got shit and you got something. No, she values you as a man because she was taught to be a wife and value her man. And when you have women, like most or the greater majority of single black women who come from broken homes, you do not have that. You do not have that. That is not a part of the family dynamic. And when it comes time to be a family, it is a huge deficiency, usually on both sides. Because I don't know if this person's parents were both in their lives, if it was in his life, but I promise you that it wasn't in hers. She ain't had no daddy that was consistently in her life every day. That's just what it is. So it's like, when you look at the totality of the circumstances, I understand how it seems to be noble. It seems to be an honorable thing to do. And in a lot of cases, in the beginning, those single mothers will make it look like it's going to be a great deal. Trust and believe, once the new car smell wears off, you're still in a used car. That's just what it is. That is just what it is. So if you still want to go down that path, you need to prepare yourself for this. Not to say that all of them going to end like this, but the likelihood of that will be something to this effect. You either falling out and the relationship being over, or there will be something that comes along where you will have to either choose to get down or lay down. That's just what happens. This is it's just one of those things to where it is not a good idea to be in a long-term marriage, committed relationship, whatever you want to call it, to where you are going to be with a woman that already got kids. Whether if it's 1 or if it's 8, it don't matter. It doesn't matter. So you have to really show some discernment, and you have to get, as men, we've got to start putting ourselves in better positions when it comes to finances, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to selecting a woman that you are going to be in a relationship with, being responsible when it comes to sex, all of that. You have to start putting yourselves in better positions. Stop laying up with a woman just because she got ass. Stop laying up with a woman just because it's easier to have sex with her because she's a single mother. Stop doing that to yourselves because you usually won't win in the end. And when you look at this person in his story, with all of the time, energy, and resources that he has spent being in this, he's not winning. He is at a deficit. He is at a loss. You just heard him say in the story that he has been in a situation where he's still providing for this child that's not his. Why would you do that? I know that you get attached and you feel sorry for the kid, but calling a thing, that child is not your responsibility. Regardless of where that child's father is, it's that man's responsibility. Whether he dead, in jail, or just out there in them streets, or has moved on. Those are the things that women need to be concerned about when they lay down with a man. When they decide to have sex with a man, and I don't care if the condom broke, if it wasn't no condom, if they was on the pill but the pill didn't work, you can come up with all the excuses in the world. When you have sex and you get pregnant, you need to be thinking every time you have sex with a man, you could get pregnant. And if you get pregnant with this man's baby, is that man going to be the father that you want him to be, or that you know that he is? Most of the time, 8 times out of 10, it's no. But you still do the shit. That ain't your fault, bruh. That ain't your fault, bruh. So it's like you have to understand that don't take on the responsibility of someone else's child when you are not in complete control of that situation, because you won't be. Dealing with baby daddy drama is the same thing, if not worse, dealing with baby mama drama. And most of the time, when it comes to a man, his kid, and some other man, this shit usually works out to where somebody winds up getting something done to the other. Whether it's fighting, shooting, killing, stabbing, beating, whatever the case may be, it usually don't work out. Because you don't know, hey, that man ain't been there since day one, but on year 10, he want to step up and be a daddy because he didn't change. That's still his kid. That's still his kid. And it's not a thing the way you look at to where that ain't the kid's fault. It ain't the kid's fault. Nope, it's the mama's fault. Because she chose to lay down with that nigga, and she chose to have that man's baby when she knew he wasn't shit. That's the reality of it. Why would you lay down with a man, get pregnant, and have his child when you do not have a commitment from him? And when I say a commitment, bing bong, there's the commitment.
Bing bong.
All that shit he talking, all that shit he telling you in your ear, whispering them sweet nothings, all that stuff that he tells you when y'all fucking, all that stuff he tells you while you coming, all that shit he tells you when he going shopping and all that shit don't mean a goddamn thing if you ain't got that ring. It's literally just words. They say love is a verb and its actions, so is commitment. And I don't understand why in today's world, with all of the information that is available at our fingertips, why a woman would put herself in a situation to where she hoping and wishing and praying that a man do right by her when she is in control of life and death of a child. Why would a woman think that getting pregnant by this dude, if he don't do right, that child support is enough? Why would you put your kid at a disadvantage? Because the statistics have been out there for fucking decades that a child that does not have both parents that live in the home together is at a serious disadvantage in life. Not the first 2 years, not the first 10 years, at life. Severe disadvantage. Why would you do that if you love your kid? And the truth of the matter is, most women make that choice because they're selfish and they're making it for themselves. They want to hurt that man. They want to try to trap that man, and they want to punish that man, and they want to play God over that kid just because the system allows them to. So I'm telling you like this, bruh. I understand how you feel, but the fact of the matter is that's not your kid, and you shouldn't have got with it in the first place. And the fact that you did and you didn't work out, now that you left, hey, all you can do is try to leave the best way possible. If you got to pay your fare and you got to pay for the child support, whatever the case may be, if you choose to do that, that's on you. But there's no way that a woman can be behind me being accused of sexual touching a kid sexually or some type of sexual misconduct, whatever the case may be, and then I'm still paying her through the courts to pay for that kid. No way. Ain't no way, boy.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no fucking way, boy.
That's all I'm saying. Ain't no way. That in itself is simping at its finest. That is not your kid. Men, understand that. It's not your kid. Yep, I know you've been there since she was 2 months old. Yep, I know you've been there before they could talk. Yep, I know they look at you as daddy. Yep, the first words out their mouth was dada, and you was right there. I know how good that makes you feel, and I know the level of attachment that you can get from that. You still have to acknowledge the fact that that is not your kid. That's just what it is. I even remember before I even decided to get serious with, as far as getting in a serious relationship, I would not even date it. Well, no, not date. I ain't gonna say that. Any woman that I spent time with, I didn't meet your kids. I didn't want them, and I would be upfront with them. Oh, I gotta go take my son to such and such house before we hang out. You won't? No, I don't. We not serious like that. I don't know why you would want to bring me around your kid and we ain't even like official. It's just, it makes no sense. I'm not going to do it. I would tell women repeatedly, soon as we get together and we kicking it, having a good time, we can go to the show, we can go hang out, we can go eat pizza, we can go do whatever. You got a kid? Great. I hope you're doing everything you can to take care of them. Nope. I don't want to meet them. I don't think I should be around your kid because we ain't serious like that. Now, if we get serious, we get exclusive or something like that, and we spending time together and we feel that we can actually be together and we talking about getting married, fine. Other than that, nope. Boy, no way, boy. I don't want to have nothing to do with your kid just because it, number one, it's protecting me, but it's also protecting that child. It's protecting the kid. Why would I have a kid get attached to me? Why would I'm a great fucking guy. I'm fun and funny and all that shit. Cooler than a motherfucking fan. But why would I have a kid get attached to me, get used to me, and begin to attach themselves to me like he was just talking about? Why would I do that if I'm not going to be there for that kid day in, day out? Or when that kid needs me, I'm there. Why would I do that? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. And my thing is, a lot of times too, and this is on both sides of the coin, stop getting in relationships with women and getting pregnant and thinking that y'all gonna figure it out and y'all gonna be together and work it out. Because usually, if you haven't had a really strong foundation, this shit ain't gonna work out. Most of the times when you get with a woman and y'all ain't going down that path of being serious and getting married, getting married. If y'all do get pregnant, before the baby is 6 months old, niggas are usually out of the house and they done broke up. And the younger that the mother and the father is, the faster it happens. The younger that they are, the faster it's going to happen. You let a motherfucking girl be 19 and y'all just got together and y'all kicking it, had a party or whatever, and she wind up pregnant. And then you talking about, I'm going to take care of my responsibilities, though. I'm going to take care of my kids. Yeah, okay. You can say that. But by the time that kid is 6 months old, so you got the 9 months, 6 months after, y'all ain't even together. We ain't together. I came up to the hospital, but we wasn't even together then. So what are y'all doing? It just goes to show how sexually irresponsible we are. And more so on the women, because y'all are in control of life and death. Y'all are in control of if the baby stays, if the baby goes. So y'all are the motherfucking quarterbacks. Therefore, y'all get the majority of the responsibility. It's just that simple. I hope that answers your question, bro. And like I said, please feel free to send me any questions that y'all may have. Like I said, I don't mind doing this. This is fun. It gets me back into my relationship rehab vibes and all that good stuff, so I like it. But you have to keep in mind that that's what it is. Most of these women that get with men today are getting with men not out of love, but out of what they can get. He got this. He got that. He can give me this. He can give me that. Most of our black women look at men as a resource. This nigga's resourceful. This nigga got a job. This nigga can give me some insurance. This nigga can give me a place to live. I ain't got no place to live. My mama done put me out with my motherfucking 6-month-old twins. We can't get along. This nigga here got a 2-bedroom house. Let me go ahead and put this pussy on and see if I can get up in there. Get out the cold. It's October. It's about to be cold next month. We in Indian summer. I still to this day don't know what the fuck Indian summer is, but motherfuckers always say it in October. But that's what they do. And it's like, that is the nature of women. They are always trying to get something to food, clothing, and shelter. You can protect them. You can keep them from having to sleep outside or being in a shelter, some shit like they with it. If I gotta give her some pussy to do it, I done fuck for a whole lot less. Why not fuck for a bed? Why not fuck for some heat? Why not fuck for some a roof? It's nothing. Since the dawn of time, since the age of wars, since wars were a thing, what would the women do on the losing team? They would go fuck the winning team. Why? Survival. They want to survive. That's it. That's all they would do. So it's like, let me go ahead out and let me go on ahead and get this shit. I done sucked dick for a lot less. I sucked the dick because I was drunk. You think I won't suck this nigga dick so I can get inside? It's supposed to snow tomorrow. Let me go ahead and cozy up to this nigga, tell him how good he is and how much I like him. Just saying. It is what it is. But you have to make sure that you don't put yourself in that position to where you are just being taken advantage of for your resources. Yes, it's a man's job to provide food, clothing, and shelter. Yes, it's a man's job, a traditional man, to make sure that he can take care of his family. Abso-fucking-lutely. However, it is still a thing to where you just don't want to give access to that to just any bitch. Let a motherfucker at least understand and have some reverence and some respect for you, not just a fat ass. Just saying. And we do that, and men put themselves in those situations when you making decisions to just sleep with a person because it feels good. I get it, but you gotta be more selective. And you gotta be with somebody that actually values you as a man, period. Fuck the car, the clothes, the money, the benefits, the house, fuck all that to the back, to the side. Does this person value me just for me being a man, showing up? And if you can't answer that 1,000% confidence, hey man, and you ain't gonna know that in the first 3 months of y'all being together and hanging out. You ain't gonna know that in the first 6 months. Be with a motherfucker for about 6 months to a year when the real motherfuckers show up. Not just when it's still, lights and camera and action time. Wait until the real motherfuckers show up, because everybody put on that show and put on that performance for the first 3 to 6 months. Oh, it's a show. It's performance after performance, Oscar winning, Tony Award winning, Emmy Award winning performance day in and day out. Why? Because you ain't living together and you only seeing each other once or twice a week. But when you got that every day, when I sleep and wake up with a motherfucker, when you done been around a motherfucker so long that you done smelled they farts, both sides, you done heard them, smelled them, that lets you know, okay, now we done really got somewhere. You ain't smelled no farts. You ain't went in the bathroom after the motherfucker and took a shit. You don't know that real person. Because that's going to let you know. Just saying. When you get up and kiss a motherfucker in the morning and they ain't brushed their teeth, you get their real, raw, natural morning breath, and you still good, hey, there it is. Right, Alex said you only met their representative. I'm telling you, you only met the theatrical version of this person. You met the person playing this person. You've met the actor. That's all you've met. Wait till you get backstage on the tour bus, in the hotel lobby, in the hotel room. Wait till you've been with a motherfucker for 6-7 months. Y'all living together. That's why people talk that shit about you shouldn't live together. Bullshit. I believe everybody should live together for 6 months to a year before you get married. Because that's the only way you gonna meet the real motherfucker. I'm telling you. Wait till you see how a motherfucker really live. When you in the house with him every day, you gonna know if she gonna clean up or not. You gonna know if she cook or not. She might cook for your ass when y'all have a little hot boy weekend together. Hot girl weekend. Y'all spend the week together somewhere. Y'all go on a trip somewhere. Yeah, she gonna perform then. But wait till this 6 months of y'all living in the same apartment or the same house day in and day out. You gonna know if she's a wife or not. You gonna know if she cook and clean for you just because that's what she do. Not, oh, I'm just doing it for you because I'm on stage. Nope. I'm just saying. Got to spend that time. But let's go ahead and let's get into the show. We're going to talk about this here debate. And one of the reasons why I did this show and I'm doing this show about the debate is because I am just still appalled at how these people will consider themselves as politicians, servants of the public servants out here for the people, trying to serve the people, but yet and still you can't ask them a simple question and get a simple answer. I'm telling you like this. I have a real problem with respect. I have a real problem with respecting a person who cannot answer a direct question with a direct answer. I begin to believe that you either have some type of mental deficiency or you are flat out full of shit. And you either don't know what you're talking about and you just can't articulate yourselves, or you're just so hell-bent on not trying to make a point, you just like to argue and you like confusion. You are the person that argues for the sake of arguing, as opposed to debating or having an argument to get understanding. When a person asks you a direct question and you cannot give them a direct answer, I'm thinking in my mind, are you full of shit? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, or you're just trying to say some shit for the sake of saying it and want me to believe it. And in all of those cases, you seem disingenuous, and I discredit what the fuck you really talking about. I'm really like, yeah, okay. It's really like that. So it's like you have to really understand the art of the conversation and understand that when people avoid your questions, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. Just think about it. If I ask you and tell you, say, hey, look, what's your first and last name? And their response is, what, you want to know my first and last name? What the fuck do you have to hide? Why would you have an issue or even need to question my question of something that very basic and direct? That's all I'm saying. So without further ado, let me go ahead and play my favorite part of the show. We're going to get it cracking.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
Incumbent Greg Abbott.
He wants to go, take your guns and deny you your Second Amendment rights. We will not let that happen.
Challenger Beto O'Rourke.
An abortion ban with no exception for rape or incest.
Let me put the
that
chat
is
up.
not us. That may be Greg Abbott.
Now, in their only debate before Election Day, we go after answers on the issues you care about most. Immigration, abortion rights, gun violence, and how far we'll go to protect our children at school. Tonight, the heat is on in South Texas, live from the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley.
Rio Grande.
The Texas Governor's Debate starts right now.
We are coming to you live from the Performing Arts Center at the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley in Edinburgh for the Texas Governor's Debate. And we are so happy that you're joining us tonight. I am your host, Britt Moreno, anchor at KXAN in Austin. This debate is airing live from El Paso to Tyler and from Amarillo to Brownsville, carried by 14 Nexstar Media Group stations in Texas, as well as 5 partner TV stations. And we want y'all to join in the conversation on social media. Use the hashtag TXGovDebate. You'll see it there at the bottom of your screen. You're all here to watch these two men share their vision for the state of Texas. Asking the questions tonight are...
So essentially what I want to do when they go over these questions and stuff, I'm just going to like give my commentary on like what they either didn't say, what the actual question was, and if we actually got a real answer.
Briefly go over the rules for tonight. Each candidate will have 60 seconds for each question. If there are follow-ups, candidates will then have 30 seconds, and there will be up to 30 seconds allowed at the end of the debate.
And I will say this about this, the style of this debate. It did allow for them to speak. Some debates are set up to where they put so many questions in the debate that when you have the back and forth, or you have it to where somebody actually isn't able to actually like answer the question and they need more time, they don't have that time to do it. And it really just becomes a point to where they just saying like real short, hot phrases, and you really can't get an honest answer out of them. But this was a good format, and it allowed for those times when they actually did want to like answer the question to answer it.
Sally with the first question.
Britt, thank you. And again, thank you both for being here tonight. I can tell it's going to be an exciting night. Got a lot of questions to ask you both, but I just want to remind you, please pay attention to the time cues. This way you're not talking over each other and I don't have to interrupt you, and our viewers at home can hear your answers tonight. Let's get to it. Immigration. Immigration issues are especially relevant here in the Rio Grande Valley. For years, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has ranked it as the #1 area for migrants crossing illegally along the entire southwestern border. Many communities here have suffered enormous monetary costs. Governor Abbott, let's start with you, and you have 60 seconds with this question. What would you do to alleviate the financial burden placed on these communities?
We've been working to respond to the disaster caused by the Biden administration that has caused such an economic burden on these communities. Farms and ranches are run over, communities are disrupted, homes that are invaded. Remember this, just 2 years ago, we had one of the safest borders in decades, but under the Biden administration, we have more people coming across the border than ever in the history of our country. Texas has responded by making sure that we have the National Guard and DPS deployed where they're making arrests and turning back illegal immigrants, as well as what we're doing to help local communities by busing them from the area where Border Patrol is dropping them off to sanctuary cities in northeastern parts of the country. But what we're doing is making sure that we are keeping our community safe, and this is completely different than the way things would be under Beto, because he said months ago, there is no problem on the border. He said that he would reduce immigration enforcement. He even said that 95% of people come across the border illegally, he would allow to stay.
Okay, Mr. O'Rourke, I want to...
So I like the way that he tactfully said his response to it, and here's the other part to it. I like the way that he put his position on it, because, and this is one of the things that I've just noticed about not just Beto, but other politicians as well. They won't answer the question because they're so busy talking about the other candidate first. And usually the person that talks about the other candidate first is the one that's full of shit. So if you ask me and say, hey, what is your opinion on nuclear, I don't know, the decommission of nuclear weapons. And my response starts off with, well, see, under such and such, his thing is, I'm not giving you my position. And like I said, people who can't answer a direct question, they're usually full of shit. With a direct, if I can't do it with a direct answer first, now I can talk about the other shit, but I gotta give you that answer right off the bat. And if I don't, I'm telling you right now, in my experience with people, in the art of conversation, when people don't do that, they're full of shit. Just saying. But watch.
I want to give you a chance to respond. And let me just repeat the question first for our viewers and for you. What would you do to alleviate the financial burden placed on border communities related to migrants crossing over? 60 seconds, please.
What we just heard from the governor is what we are likely to hear over the course of this debate. He's going to blame people like President Biden. He's going to try to lie about my record, and he's going to distract from his failures, whether it's his failure
Bing bong.
to keep the lights
Just
on
saying.
the grid, his failure to address school shootings, or failure in immigration. We are 8 years into his time as governor, and this is what we have on our border. In fact, $4 billion into Operation Lone Star. We're seeing not fewer, but more encounters at our border right now. What we need is a safe, legal, orderly path for anyone who wants to come here to work, to join family, or to seek asylum. If you come,
He's right. And here's the thing. We already have that. We already have that. So do you see how he still has not answered the question? We already have that to where a person can actually come over here the right way. We have that in place.
come to this country, we expect you to follow the law. But on our side, we're going to make sure that our laws reflect our values and our interests. And I'm going to work with local leaders, Republicans and Democrats alike, to make sure that we have a Texas-based guest worker program to alleviate shortages that we have in our state for labor demands and reduce inflation and address supply chain issues as well.
Thank you. Governor Abbott, you just heard your opponent talk about Operation Lone Star, and I have a follow-up question about that. About $4 billion in state funds has been directed to the Operation Lone Star Border Security Initiative.
So is there anybody that can tell me his answer to the question? Because he clearly didn't give it. Clearly. And please click that like button, those of you that are watching. But he clearly did not even answer the question. He talked about Uvalde. He talked about the billions of dollars that the governor had spent. He talked about him blaming everybody else. He talked about everything but what he was supposed to talk about first, which was, hey, what is your opinion on this?
The program has seen its funding increase as recently as this past July. So the question, Governor, in 30 seconds if you can to answer this, should more money be allocated towards Operation Lone Star? And if so, Governor, how much?
Well, candidly, we shouldn't have to
30
allocate any money for it because this is all because of Joe Biden's failure to do the president's job.
You see how he answered the question? Should any more, look at it right there. Should more money be allocated to Operation Lone Star? His response was there should be no money allocated towards this. But the reason why we are here is because of what the fucking administration is doing as far as the presidential administration allowing everybody to come over here. Beto didn't acknowledge that at all. He just said he's blaming other people. He's blaming everyone else but himself. What the fuck else can I do? What else is there for me to do? So, and then he talked about how much money he's spending trying to stop this shit. He's just blaming everyone else but taking responsibility. This is how it's been for 8 years. 8 years of what? Texas prosperity, motherfucker? Are you really trying to go there? Man, please.
secure the border. We're only having to do that because of Joe Biden's failure and because it would be the same pathway that Beto would take us down. Speaking of which, he talked about this guest worker program. He could have done that had he won the race for the Senate or won the race for president. That's not a job for governor. The job of governor is have to deal with the chaos caused by the Biden administration and its open border policies that Beto would replicate.
What we have is chaos thanks to Governor Abbott right now.
Okay, let me give you 15 seconds to answer the question for me. How much money should be going toward Operation Lone Star?
And I'm telling you, $0 should be going to Operation Lone Star, and that's what it would be if we had a president who was enforcing the immigration laws of the United States of America.
So he not only answered it once, but he answered it twice. Look here. We shouldn't be spending no money on this shit. The only reason why we haven't, and my thing is this, because of the amount of people that are coming over here on a day-to-day basis, there is no amount of money that I can say. It's either I'm going to spend money to try to control this, or I'm not going to spend money and just get overran. You really have no choice. How do you budget a borderless fucking state? How do you budget that? There's no way to. There's no way to give a number. We're only going to spend $45 million on this, and that's it. I can't give that number. This has never happened before. I'm telling you, we shouldn't be spending a goddamn dime on this. It's because of what our president is doing, which is why we're in this situation. What else do you want me to say?
America.
Mr. O'Rourke, I want to go over to you. 30 seconds for this question. It's the same one. Should more money be allocated towards Operation Lone Star?
No, it's clearly failed. The numbers are in. We're seeing not fewer but more engagements at our border. When the
So did he just agree saying that? Nope. Watch how he spin it.
governor spent $4 billion of our tax dollars on what has turned out to be political theater for his political career. He promised us that it would deter people from coming to this country. We've only seen more people come. Now they get a bus ride to Chicago or Washington, D.C. or New York. We don't need any more stunts. We need solutions. We need those coming here to follow our laws. We need to make sure our laws follow our values.
Thank you, Mr.
Why would you not send immigrants to sanctuary cities when you're not a sanctuary state? We didn't ask for no immigrants. There are other cities in other states that have. Why would I not send them there? Why would I not send them there? And it's like, even when you look at immigration, it's like nobody really gives a shit about it until they started doing that. When they started dropping motherfuckers off in Chicago, that's when the media talked about it. When they started dropping motherfuckers off in New York, that's when the city started talking. That's when the media started talking about it. When they started dropping motherfuckers off in D.C., that's when they started talking. We're being overran. Y'all a sanctuary city. Y'all can handle it. I don't see what the problem is. Why would I not send immigrants to a sanctuary state? Tell me, or a sanctuary city. Tell me why I would not. Tell me why that's not the thing to do if we are not a sanctuary city. If we are not a sanctuary state.
Respond to that, please.
I'll give you 15 seconds, Governor.
Sure. So these are efforts to protect our state. There is a record amount of fentanyl coming across the border. This deadly. Texas law enforcement has seized enough fentanyl to kill every man, woman, and child in the entire country. And this is because of Joe Biden's policies.
Thank you, Governor Abbott. I assure you we have a lot of questions, a lot of topics to get to, and Steve
there you go.
has the next one.
Right, exactly. Martha's Vineyard, that's when them motherfuckers lost their fucking minds. How dare you send these immigrants we told y'all could come over here to our wonderful, beautiful oasis over here on the East Coast. And you see how quickly they didn't even motherfucking provide them with no resource. They got their ass the fuck up out of there just like that. Grand opening, grand closing. Yep, these houses are nice. Get y'all ass back on this bus and get the fuck up out of here. I don't know where you're going to go, but you're going to get up out of here.
Thank you, Sally, and thank you, gentlemen, for both being here tonight. Mr. O'Rourke, I want to continue with the immigration topic now. You've criticized the deployment of National Guard troops to the border. Here's a clip of you speaking at a March rally in College Station.
There are Guard members from Texas A&M who are on the border right now in Zapata and Webb and Hidalgo counties to go be part of a solution in search of a problem.
A solution in search of a problem. More recently, you told the Houston Chronicle that you will put some troops on the border as governor. In 60 seconds, can you explain why your view on deploying troops has seemingly changed when it comes to the border?
It hasn't. I've actually been to Zapata and...
He said it hasn't. Do you just see how he just lied? Like, you just said there was a solution in search of a problem. And now you saying, yeah, I will put troops on the border. How about you just stop these motherfuckers from coming over here? You were saying, basically, we just need to come up with a better solution for them when they do get here.
Webb and Maverick counties and listen to these members of the Guard who had less than a week to say goodbye to their families and to their careers and into their communities to be part of the governor's political theater. Those aren't my words, those are their words. So far, we've lost the lives of 8 Guard members. 4 of them have taken their lives, and 4 of them have died in questionable circumstances, none of whom, by the way, was killed by anybody coming in to this country.
Now, that's true. None of them was killed by anybody that was coming into this country. But how about the 53 people that died in that semi-trailer? How about the people that are dying what did Mr. Chavez say? 1,800 illegals crossing in the Texas border every day. Texas alone. We ain't even talking about Arizona, just Texas. 1,800. Now, if they're crossing over every day, imagine how many people aren't making it. Imagine how many people are dying on the journey over to cross the border. And then imagine the people that are dying once they get over here on the other side of the border. You talking about these 8 people that are American citizens, and I'm sure for that. I get it. But the whole fact of the matter is that the practice that's being allowed to be displayed and what's allowed to go on day to day is not just American lives that are being put at risk. We're just talking about the people that you're telling to come over here and allowing to come over here. There are literally hundreds of them dying trying to get over here. But you obviously don't give a shit about that. You just say, hey, shit, it's just part of the journey.
These Guard members say they have no powers to arrest or detain anybody. 10,000 Guard members, $4 billion, and it's been a complete failure, much as everything that the governor has done has been a failure for this state. What we need are solutions.
Much of everything that the governor has done has been a failure for the state. Boy, stop lying. Stop lying.
Not more stunts. Where we can have a strategic deployment on a voluntary basis for Guard members, let's do that. I've been consistent on that. Where we can partner with local sheriffs, with DPS troopers, let's do that. But we need to work on things like a Texas-based guest worker program to meet labor needs in our communities and ensure that our laws match our values.
Oh, so he's saying basically all of these illegal aliens that are coming over here, we need to try to find them jobs and put them in communities where they can actually work. Guest workers. That's what he means by that. That was just like when Nancy Pelosi said, yeah, you know, all these people, they want to come over here and we need to let them come over here so they can pick this fruit and cut this grass. How about the MS-13 motherfuckers that's coming over here? They don't pick fruit or cut grass. They kill motherfuckers. They gang bang. How about that? How about that? This is ridiculous.
Thank you, Mr. O'Rourke. Governor, I want to talk to you. You talked about migrants and the busing of migrants. Many migrant advocates and Democratic elected officials have expressed concerns about...
Right, Amanda. What about the child traffickers? What about that? We ain't gonna talk about that part? It's like they try to make it seem like in their minds, and the type of propaganda that they try to come with and what they're saying, every illegal alien that is trying to cross the border is a migrant worker that just wants to come over here, pick fruit, cut grass, trim bushes, and try to do whatever they can to stay over here. That's it. They just want a chance to visit America and work for a little bit just to get some of our wonderful American dollars. Forget all the sex traffickers. Forget all of the kids that die. Forget all the kids that drown. The parents that just put their kids over here, abandon their kids and say, hey, just get your ass over there if you can and try to make it because it's worse over here. And then they just want, exactly, then they want all of those people to be able to come over here and vote. Yeah, you don't know shit about our country. You don't know shit about, you can't even speak our language. But we want you to be able to vote. Yeah, okay.
Of migrants being bused from Texas to other states and cities. Here's New York Mayor Eric Adams talking about that just last week.
And when we reached out to Governor Abbott and stated, can we coordinate? Can we identify, who's traveling here, that we don't have to guess this? They refuse to do so.
The White House.
Why would y'all care? Y'all a sanctuary city. Come one, come all. Y'all just like how it used to be at Ellis Island. Just come over here. Tell us your name. You can make up something. We'll write it in this book and let you come right on over. Hell, damn the book and your name. Just come over. Heck yeah, right, Mr. Maxwell. Them Haitians, though, when they tried to come over here, they were like, oh, no, get y'all black asses back over where y'all at. We ain't going to have y'all come over here. The border is closed to y'all. They got them Haitians the fuck up out of here quick, fast, and in a hurry. They rounded up all them motherfuckers. Said, nah. Get y'all asses out of here.
House has called this a political stunt. Governor Abbott, is this a political stunt? And has there been coordination with the states and cities these migrants are being taken to? And if not, why not? You have 60 seconds, sir.
So this operation began after meeting with local officials, sheriffs, mayors, police chiefs, and county judges, where they were overrun with the number of migrants that Border Patrol had dumped into their...
And I can vouch for that. He actually did go around and meet with all of these motherfuckers in Texas. He did.
Tiny little communities. They needed relief, and busing was one of the ways of providing them relief, and thus began the process of busing the migrants to cities that self-identified as sanctuary cities. Mayor Adams has never called my office, never talked to anybody in my administration, and so what he's saying is just flat out false. There has been communication between non-governmental organizations in Texas as well as the ultimate location, whether it be Washington, D.C. or New York. But going back to what Beto said, what you showed on video earlier was what happens throughout this entire campaign, where Beto continues to flip-flop on issue after issue after issue. He's flip-flopped on the border issue. He's flip-flopped on the energy issue, such as energy jobs and the Green New Deal. He's flip-flopped on defunding the police. Whether it's one issue or another, he keeps changing positions.
And I will definitely say that is fucking true. Beto has been shown repeatedly how he's flip-flopped and will say one thing in front of one group, and the next day in front of a different group will say something totally different. And the reason why he does that, and this is why I'm saying that, because people say, no, you just misinterpreted what he said. Nope. He's saying that because his biggest thing, and I'll give him credit for this. I'll definitely give him credit for this. Beto is ambitious. He is ambitious, and he wants, excuse my cough drop, it's ambitious. Ambitious. He's ambitious because he wants power, period. He'll try it just like I'll try to be the governor. I'll try to be a congressman. I'll try to be a state rep. I'll try to be a senator. I'll try anything that will give me power. That's what I want to do. That's it. That's his thing. His ambitions as a rider is to become a politician. That's all he wants to do. He wants to get any position possible. That's why he ran for president. That's why he ran for governor. That's why he ran for senator. That's why he runs for state rep. He gonna run for everything possible until he lands somewhere, and then he'll keep trying to run for something else because he just wants to get as much power as he possibly can. He will say anything. He will do anything. He will portray anyone just to get power, just like Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris has got to be one of the most lame duck vice presidents in all of history. She has literally done nothing as vice president. Nothing, not a damn thing. But my thing is, when you look at someone like this, a person that is that ambitious to try to just get anything, I just want any position, just to get my foot in the door. That person is not only somebody you should watch, but that person should be watched because they're very dangerous. That means they will sell out the people. They will do anything, and they will do anything for anybody that can get them closer to what it is they want. And that is a very, very dangerous person. So keep that in mind. Y'all seeing all this shit Beto running for, ask yourself this. If he's really passionate about this position or that position or that position or that office, why not stick and stay with it? If I really want to be governor, why wouldn't I be running for governor, and why wouldn't I be focused on being the governor? If I really want to be mayor, if I really want to be senator, if I really want to be congressman, whatever it is that I really want to be, why wouldn't I just stay focused on that thing? You know why? Because if I try to get something else and I can get in there, then I can try to get something else and get in there. It's not about the people. It's not about being passionate about the job. It's literally about trying to get power. That's it. That's all he wants. And like I said, you got people like that, those are very dangerous people.
To be clear, though, you say that Mayor Adams has never called your office.
Correct.
Thank you. Mr. O'Rourke, I want to follow up on this. You've called the busing of migrants a political stunt as well. Why shouldn't sanctuary cities share the burden of what's happening on the Texas border? You have 30 seconds.
Look, I live on the border. No one cares more about the security and safety of the border than those who are raising our children there. I also serve as a city council member.
Do you see this question? He still ain't. Why shouldn't sanctuary cities share some of the burden of what's happening at the border? He talking about where he lived, and he talking about where he's been. Let's see if he answers it.
There. And in my time working with law enforcement, working with state and federal partners, we were able to help make El Paso, Texas, one of the safest cities in the United States of America. It's because we were looking at solutions instead of these stunts. I just want to remind everyone, this guy's been governor for 8 years, and this is where we are today. Some of the worst levels of engagement, encounters, fentanyl trafficking, and human smuggling that we've seen. That's the result of stunts instead of solutions.
Stick to the time, please. Thank you.
He literally didn't say shit. He didn't answer the question. And I don't understand why you would even be wanting to vote for somebody that don't answer a fucking direct question. He just did. He talked about where he lived. He talked about, he went right back. He's going to say 8 years of Abbott. He's going to say how 8. My thing is this. If you're a better candidate than Abbott is, why are you concerned about what he's done in 8 years as opposed to answering the questions and telling us what you going to do? Why wouldn't you just tell us what you're going to do? Look, fuck what he talking about. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this because this works. I'm going to do this because this will change this. I'm going to do this because this is what will make it better.
See if I can respond to what you just said.
Absolutely. I'll give you 15 seconds.
He mentioned El Paso. The fact of the matter is the El Paso mayor, a Democrat, the El Paso City Council, Democrats, they are now busing more people than the state of Texas is busing. And he's not calling them out for them busing people to other regions.
Different program. It is.
He said it's a completely different program, but it's true. You're busting them out if you're busting them out. That's just it. All of that, well, you know, it's a completely different program. Okay, if that's the case, then why wouldn't you talk about that program as far as being your solution? If it's working. And if it's working better than what Abbott is doing, you would think it would be one of the first things out of his mouth. Nope.
It is apples to oranges. And I'll tell you, this hateful rhetoric,
it is apples to oranges. Still fruit, I guess they got to be picked, huh?
Treating human beings as political pawns, talking about invasions in Texas, Texans defending themselves. That's how people get killed at the Walmart in El Paso. The gentleman in Hudspeth that we just learned about yesterday. This is incredibly dangerous for Texas and is not reflective of our values.
Okay.
Still didn't answer the question. Talked about people getting shot, people getting killed. Still did not answer the question.
Governor, I want to give you 30 seconds to respond to those charges.
Sure. I mean, it's clear that Beto just wants to perpetuate the open border policies and mischaracterize exactly what's going on. He refuses to acknowledge that the city of El Paso, because they are so overwhelmed by Joe Biden's open border policies, they too are having to bust migrants out of their communities because they have no way of keeping them there. That's what we're trying to do to help our local communities and make sure that we are going to lighten the load.
No one is for open borders, not the least of us who actually live on the borders. This is the kind of stunt that you get from Greg Abbott. We need solutions right now.
I want to go to a
Okay. If you're saying that we need solutions, why would you not be the one to come up with that solution and tell us what the solution is that's better than what Abbott is doing? You saying, and let's just go with what he's saying. If he's saying that Abbott is pulling stunts, he doesn't have any real solutions. Okay, if you want me to vote for you, I would think that you would be the one to tell me, hey, I got a real solution. Here's what we can do. Here's what we should do. Here's what we have done. Here's what I'm proposing that everybody does because this works. He don't, and he won't. He won't do that throughout this entire debate. He will not come with one thing that is his solution to a problem that he can prove works with factual data. He won't do it. I can tell you that he's never done it in his entire political career. He just literally talks around the topic until it's not his turn no more. That's it. He has no solutions. He's just talking about we're going to try, we're going to come up with something better, we're going to go ahead and do this. I know you're hungry right now, but we're going to come up with a solution to get you some food. I know you're starving, you haven't eaten in 4 days, but we're going to come up with a solution to get you some food. Hey, I know that you guys are hungry. I know you haven't been eating. And I know that you really, really would like some food. And we're going to come up with a solution for you to get some food. As opposed to saying, hey, look, man, I got 4 food trucks outside right now. These food trucks have been traveling around the country. They've been giving everybody food, and they here to give y'all some food today. That's a solution. He doesn't have any of that about himself. How do you not have a solution, but you telling somebody else what they shit that they got going on ain't working? Hey, man, your way ain't working. Okay, what's your solution? My solution is that we come up with a solution. That's what I say. Yeah. We need a better solution than what he doing, and that solution is for us to come up with that solution that's going to be better than what he doing. I don't know what it is, but vote for me, and I'll start the conversation and figuring it out. How about that? We'll just wait.
You, Governor Abbott, and it's on the busing question. These migrants are being sent to states and cities with Democratic leadership. Why aren't these migrants being sent to so-called sanctuary cities in Republican-led states like New Orleans or Metro Atlanta? You have 30 seconds.
So again, because these cities of New York and Washington, D.C. and Chicago are so large and have the infrastructure that's available, they have the capability of accommodating the number of migrants that are being sent.
Great question. That was a great question. Hey, man, look, these sanctuary cities ain't all blue. How come you ain't sending these motherfuckers to these red ones? Great question. Because we don't, these small, like, and I'm going to tell you right now, New Orleans infrastructure compared to Chicago's, night and day. And that was a great answer. It really was. It's like he ain't no bullshit. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to send these 50 people, these 100 people, these 75 people to a city that has a better infrastructure. They can actually handle this many people. Why wouldn't I do that? That makes sense. That absolutely makes sense. If Gary, Indiana is a sanctuary city, that may be all fine and dandy, but Gary, Indiana can't handle 200 displaced people, 200 immigrants that then came over here illegal. They just can't do it. They don't have the infrastructure to do that. However, you go to a bigger city like New York, they do.
Better than these other cities that you talked about. There will be other cities in the future that also will be on the receiving end of migrants because we will continue to have to move migrants because Joe Biden continues to allow more illegal immigrants to come into the state of Texas.
Thank you, Governor. My colleague Gromer Jeffers has the next question.
Thank you, Steve, and hello, gentlemen. Good to see you both.
You too, Gromer.
Let's pivot now to the topic of gun control. Following the Uvalde massacre, many community members made this one specific plea. Here's one student who survived the shooting at Robb Elementary.
You have to be 21 to buy a case of beer, but an 18-year-old bought a gun to kill kids. That does not make sense.
To be clear, that's a call to raise the age limit to buy an AR-15 style weapon from 18 to 21. A Republican governor in Florida broke with the NRA to sign this into law after the Parkland mass shooting. Governor Abbott, you say this can't be done in Texas. Mr. O'Rourke, you say it will be done if you're elected. Can you please explain your positions? Let's start with you, Governor Abbott. You have 60 seconds.
Here's my thing to this, and I'll give for what they both say with this one. Number one, they full of shit, and I think that you are a lousy fucking adult to put a child in an adult situation because the child doesn't understand the question that they're asking. So I believe that that's inappropriate. The other part to that is this. If I can die for my country at 18 using a fucking AR-15 in this military for these United States of America, I damn sure should be able to buy one at 18. If I have the mental capacity, at 18 to not only join this military, serve in this military, and kill for this country, I damn sure should have the right to actually buy an AR-15 or an AR-15 style weapon. I don't give a fuck what you say. If I can go die for this motherfucker, I damn sure should be able to buy a fucking gun that I use in the military to kill for this country. Oh, so at 18, I can die for this country and I can go kill for this country. Whoever the fuck they tell me to go kill, I can go do that, but I can't buy the same weapon that I have here. I can't buy the same weapon that I use in the military. I can't buy that and have it here to protect me and my family. That's bullshit. The other part about this is there's a little small piece of paper and a little small blurb on that piece of paper called the Second Amendment. It's a right, not a privilege. It's a right. You don't get to tell me what gun I can and cannot use. And I take insult to that when people try to bring that up to where they want to restrict the rights, because here's the other part to this. And this is what that kid doesn't understand. Yeah, I may not be able to buy this gun at 18, but I could damn sure buy it on the streets at 18. I could buy it on the streets at 16. I could buy it on the streets at 14. Just saying. Minor Jamal says if you can't buy AR-15 at 18, then no one should be able to vote or sign a college loan at 18 either. Exactly. I agree. Stop using children like that. You don't put children in adult situations. Plain and simple. Talking about gun control, that's an adult conversation. You don't put kids in that situation. But if you telling me that I can go, and we're not even talking about a draft, where I don't have a choice, where I gotta go and fight, I gotta go and kill for this country at 18, but I can't have a right to buy this gun? Man, please. Y'all full of shit. There's no way that anybody should even be talking about this, because you motherfuckers up in Washington, D.C., y'all can sign y'all little declarations of war. Y'all can point y'all fingers and say, we got to go over there and help the people over in the Ukraine. We got to go over there and help people to do this. Or we got to step in and stop this. Or we got to stop this. Or we got to go get these weapons of mass destruction. Or I can go do all that and die at 18, but I can't buy a gun over here at 18. Please.
First, there's no reason why a little girl like that should ever have to say anything like that.
Thank you.
There's a reason why these parents are angry, and they're rightfully angry, and I can feel their pain. No parent should lose a child, and we want to do everything we can to make sure that does not happen. We want to end school shootings, but we cannot do that by making false promises. It's a false promise to suggest that we can pass a law that will be upheld by the Constitution to raise the age, and here's why. The most recent Federal Court of Appeals decision on this particular issue said that it was unconstitutional for a state to raise the age from 18 to 21 for a person to buy an AR-15. So any attempt to try to raise the age is going to be met with it being overturned. So we need to get to the bottom of what is really ailing our communities, and that is the mental health that is leading people to engage in school shootings. And Texas is already addressing that.
And here's the thing. There is no gun control law that's going to stop gun violence. There isn't. And people that are the politicians that are voting for this, the politicians that are trying to do this, they are literally just trying to, they're trying to give you a false sense of security. We have banned all AR-15 guns. Okay, what about the handguns? What about the suicides? What about the people that just go crazy and get them illegally and kill motherfuckers anyway? What about the 3D printed guns? None of that. It's like, why are you trying to tell me that this is a solution when you know it's not? There's statistical data that proves that it's not. It makes no sense. Ruth says, why in Virginia you have to be 21 to buy guns? But if you're in the military, you can buy a gun at 18, depending on the gun you want to buy. This is in Virginia's law, and 1 gun a month. That's a stupid law. I'm sorry that it's like that, but it's a stupid law that doesn't control gun violence at all. Gun control does not control gun violence. It just doesn't. There are too many guns here. And the other thing too, and I'm so tired of people trying to do this, stop trying to compare other countries to America, because there is no other country on planet Terra that actually has the amount of guns that we have in America. There is no other country in America that has the size and has the actual right to bear arms like in America. There's no comparison. So you have to just look at the statistical data that we have here.
Yeah, just a quick follow-up, Governor. Take 15 seconds to answer this. You're a former Attorney General. You've never shied away from a legal fight. Are you against this proposal because you feel like it's unconstitutional, or you believe that it's unnecessary? You personally believe that it's unnecessary?
Purely from a legal position, based upon what that Court of Appeals decision ruled, and importantly, based upon what the Supreme Court decision said in a June opinion that changed the way that Parkland case was determined. I know how the Parkland case was determined. Florida is going to have its law overturned because of this new Supreme Court decision.
Thank you, Governor. Mr. O'Rourke, in 60 seconds, can you please explain your position on raising the age limit to purchase AR-15 style weapons?
First of all, I'm going to follow the lead of those families from Uvalde. That's who I'm doing this for. In fact,
I'm sorry. This dude just said that's who I'm doing this for. Also, 2 years before Uvalde, when you said, you're goddamn right, we're going to take your AR-15s. We're going to take your AK-47s. You were doing it for Uvalde then? Do you see how much of a liar he is? He will say anything. Anything. It's like, why would you say that? I'm doing this for Uvalde. You don't even know those people in Uvalde. When your ass went to Uvalde, those people told you to get the fuck out of there. It's like, dude, there is no line that this dude will not cross. None. Like, why would you feel the need to say that? I don't recall saying 18 years old is still a kid. I don't know what that means. Can you articulate yourself a little bit better to say why you said that? And then he typed, who rises you? I don't know, but I haven't seen this person before, so here we go.
Many of them drove more than 5 hours, 280 miles to be here today, even though they're not allowed in this theater because of the governor's conditions, because they want to hold him accountable, because it's been 18 weeks since their kids have been killed, and not a thing has changed in this state to make it any less likely that any other child will meet the same fate. All we need is action, and the only person standing in our way is the governor of the state of Texas.
What action? He won't say what action, but here's the other part to that. Number one, yes, they did. They just put all of Uvalde's police officers on. It was, I think it's like 6 or 8 of them in total in Uvalde, their police department. They put them all on leave. The other thing is those children that died, they died because of the police failure. Those police officers failed those kids. Chief Arredondo, he's the reason why those children are dead. Well, all of them are dead. Had he done his job and followed the proper protocol, those numbers would not have been what they are. He did that.
In Florida, after the Parkland shootings, it was 23 days for that Republican governor to raise the age. And in those states where the age has been raised, mass shootings are down 80%. So yes, we can.
Boy, ain't no way. Boy,
ain't no way, boy.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Since he passed that
boy.
law.
Boy, ain't no fucking way, boy.
That's just a flat out fucking lie. There's no way you can pass a law and then say, because I passed this law, mass shootings are down 80%. How the fuck can you prove that? He's a fucking lying asshole, dude. He's the worst, man. I'm telling you. That's ridiculous. Shout out to Mr. Maxwell. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate the donation. That makes no sense whatsoever. 80% decline. Boy, stop. Lying ass son of a bitch. Boy, he'll say anything.
Raise the age to 21. And as governor, I'll bring Republicans and Democrats around the table to do that. After all of these mass shootings, this governor has done nothing except make it easier for people who should not have a firearm to carry them publicly, and this is what we get as a result. We need change.
Governor,
be right back, y'all.
The last time you ran for governor, we asked you about red flag laws, and those are laws which could stop an individual with potential intention to harm others from purchasing a gun. And you said about that, quote, I would not support a red flag law that would take guns away from people without due process. Now, a lot has happened in those 4 years. Are you open to implementing red flag laws today? You have 30 seconds.
Well, let me tell you what I support and I don't support. What I support is making it a felony for someone to lie on a background check. I signed that into law last year. I approve of expanding background checks to include juvenile records. Also approve of making it a crime for criminal gangs to buy or to possess a gun. But I'm still against red flag laws for the reason that it would deny a lawful Texas gun owner their constitutional right to due process.
Thank you, Governor. Mr. O'Rourke, you have been criticized at times for your positions on gun control, including this comment you made in 2019 while running for president.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. We're not going to allow it to be used against our fellow Americans anymore.
But in February, you told reporters in Tyler that you were, quote, not interested in taking anything away from anyone. So which is it, Mr. O'Rourke? Are you for confiscating AR-15 style weapons or not? You have 30 seconds.
You heard the question. He played the excerpt of when he said, hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15s. We're going to take your AK-47s. He said it flat out to thunderous applause. He said it at the presidential debate. He just asked him, he said, you then turned around and said, you're not trying to take nothing from nobody. And now he's asking him pretty much, hey, asshole, which one is it? Let's see what he says.
After losing 23 of my neighbors to somebody armed with a weapon of war.
After losing 23 of my neighbors, you don't fucking live in Uvalde. Are you fucking serious? You don't even know any of those people in Uvalde. But now they're your neighbors. Dude, if I lived in Uvalde, I would be pissed at a motherfucker saying that. That's just like him telling me, yeah, I lost, 47 of my fellow people in the Wild Hunters of Chicago, the South Side. Those are my neighbors. I'd be like, boy, ain't no way, boy. Ain't nobody seen your ass. Shout out to Dennis Duke.
After talking to these families who could only identify their children in Uvalde by the shoes that they were wearing, it's clear.
Man, I will stop my show for this. This is a great question. So what would you say after 19 kids was killed or were killed by by 19 kids were killed by a 20-year-old with an AR-15 style weapon? I would say that those kids that died by a 19-year-old, those kids that died by a 17-year-old, those kids that died by a 16-year-old, those kids that died by a 20-year-old, those kids that died by a 21-year-old. 19 kids died. I don't give a shit how old the person is that killed them. It's 19 kids. I don't care if they use an AR-15. I don't care if they use the F-18. I don't care. It's 19 kids that's dead. How about this, though? Where's the uproar about the 56 people that got shot in Chicago, the 87 people that got shot in Chicago? How about the 20 kids that got killed in Chicago? How about that were under the age of 17? How about that? Where is the information for that? I don't care what kind of gun it is. I don't care if it was a knife. I don't care if it was a bat. I don't care if it was a hammer. I don't care if it was an axe. 19 kids dead is 19 kids dead. How they died and the weapon that was used, what about the 19 kids that died from fentanyl? Are we really splitting? We're literally splitting hairs. And the people that are riding this bus, that are on this, we need to ban AR-15s. The whole point is, and the reason why I'm going to say that you're just flat out stupid and uninformed, it's because you're not looking at the fact that these kids are dying because of this gun. No, these kids are dying because of the lack of just flat out parenting, the lack of law enforcement, the lack of following protocol like they should have followed in Uvalde. That's why these kids are dying, because the fact of the matter is, and I know a lot of people don't want to acknowledge this, and a lot of people don't want to hear what I'm about to say, there's a kid that's dying every day. There are some kids that died today. There are some kids that died that will die tomorrow. And banning whatever, whether you want to ban AR-15s, whether you want to ban knives, whether you want to ban cars, is not going to stop that. It's not the weapon, it's the person.
To me that the only place that an AR-15 or an AK-47 makes sense is on a battlefield. But as governor of the state of Texas, I need to be focused on what we can get done. Raising the minimum age of purchase to 21, we can get that done. A red flag law, we'll get that done. Universal background checks, we will get that done.
What is raising the age of 21 going to do besides make kids who are under the age of 21 get their guns illegally? The fact of the matter is they still have their gun. Do you care if you get hit by a car that was stolen or if you got hit by a car that was purchased by an 18-year-old? I would believe that the fact of the matter is you don't want to get hit by the car. Just saying. I'm just saying. That's just what it is. So when you look at what it is that you're trying to say, that you're trying to stop, there is no statistical data that proves, because they tried it and it didn't work. It literally came back and said that didn't change anything. We banned AR-15s and it didn't work. You said, and I don't want to get hit by an AR-15 bullet. Let me tell you something, sir, ma'am. You don't want to get hit by any bullet. A 22, a 9mm, a 45, a 40, a 357, a 380, a 308. You don't want to get hit by any bullet. This is not about a particular style of gun. America has a mental health problem. America has a family problem. America has a people-person problem. We have fucked up people here. We have hurt people here, abused people here. We need to focus our resources and our attention on that. Because the last time I checked, there's not a handgun I know to date that got up on its own and pulled its own trigger to shoot or hurt or kill anybody. And until you show me that video, then we have nothing to talk about when it comes to gun control. Gun control is a fucking myth. Thank you, Amanda. 43 children have been killed in Chicago alone. I believe they got Uvalde beat. Sorry. You ain't seen that shit on the news, have you? You ain't seen that nowhere, have you? Ain't no memorial for those 43, is it? See, y'all want to pick and choose the shit that you want to talk about, and you want to pick and choose the things that you want to acknowledge as opposed to just looking at the facts across the board. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. And every time that people say this, and every time people talk about this, and I bring this stuff up, this is the one thing that people can't respond to and can't answer. You have no answer for this, no response to this. You talking about 19 kids, I get it. I'm talking about 43. Talk about you don't want to get shot by an AR-15 bullet? How about the 286 that got shot in Chicago alone this year? How about that? You think they wanted to get shot? See, but when you're talking about the actual facts, the actual factual data of what's happening, you just want to go with the hot button. Let's just go with the thing that's going to make it popular. We could just ban it. Last time I checked, fentanyl was banned in America. People still dying from it, ain't it? Last time I checked, crack cocaine was banned in America. People still smoking that shit, ain't they? Last time I checked, heroin was banned in America. People still tying off, ain't they? See what a ban does? Exactly. He said, so how were those 43 children killed because they were trapped in a school? You saying because they weren't trapped in a school surrounded by police? Is that really the point you're trying to make? You see what I mean? They can't respond to it. They can't just put it in perspective and say, God damn, he's right. 43 children dead or 19 children dead? Answer that. I don't give a good goddamn about the circumstances. I don't care if they were in a boat. I don't care if they were on a moat. I don't care if they were in a house. I don't care if they were by a mouse. I don't care if they were here. I don't care if they were there. I don't care if they were over there. I don't care. It's 43 kids. And the fact that you're trying to justify and try to get the parameters of how those 43 kids died and got killed this year, you're a piece of shit for trying to do it. That's all I'm saying. Oh, we still talking about the debate because my debate is this. There is no debate with gun control. Gun control is a myth. It should not even be debated. Because when you look at the cold hard facts, you're talking about trying to ban something or control something that is an inanimate object. So when you're talking about gun control, let's talk about automobile control. You're talking about gun control, let's talk about airline control. You're talking about gun control, let's talk about knife control. You're talking about gun control, let's talk about bat control. You're talking about gun control, let's talk about handgun control. It's a myth. You're talking about gun control, let's talk about drug control. How's that working out for the country? You're talking about gun control, let's talk about, I don't know, how about this little thing called opioid control? It's a myth. It's a moot point. It's too many guns here to get rid of them. Period. It's too much coke here to get rid of it. It's too much heroin here to get rid of it. Too much crack here to get rid of it. There's too many knives here to get rid of them. There are too many cars here to get rid of them. There's too many cigarettes here to get rid of it. No guns means just a good ass whooping. Okay, what about fight control? What about the person that doesn't stop whooping ass? What about the person that gets beaten to a bloody pulp? What about the person that gets stomped and gets mental and gets brain damage? What about that? Now we're talking about punching control, kicking control, stomping control, kneeing control.
We'll make progress and take action where this governor has failed.
Thank you, Mr. Rourke. So just to be clear, yes or no, are you for confiscating AR-15 style weapons?
I'm for making sure that we make progress. Those families that I was just with from Uvalde want us to take action. This is the common ground. I've listened to Republicans and Democrats alike on this. We can agree on this much. Raise the age to 21.
Okay.
Red flag law and a universal background check.
Thank you, Mr. O'Rourke. Steve has the next question.
Red flag laws are beyond stupid. Beyond stupid. Yeah, they're gonna red flag. Also, my girlfriend can get mad at me and say, yeah, he crazy. I think he gonna do something with his guns. And I just lose all my guns and I gotta spend time off my job trying to get a lawyer or whatever the case may be to try to get my guns back. No evidence. Red flag laws require no probable cause and no evidence. It's just a phone call. Yeah, I think this person, I think. Okay, well, you lose your right. Where they do that at? Where they do that at? Now, if you post some shit on social media, do I think your ass should lose your shit? If they can't prove that you got hacked, absolutely. You on social media talking about, yeah, I can't wait to go kill some kids on Tuesday. Yup. If they can ban me and give me a strike for saying the word fucking COVID or for saying the fucking word the shot, then they damn sure should be able to stop a motherfucking GABA algorithm to stop a motherfucker to say, yeah, I'm going to go kill some people next week.
Thank you, Gromer. We want to focus in now more on the
Shout out to Jerry, hit your boy with $10. Thank you. Shout out to Mr. Maxwell, hit your boy with 5. Appreciate it.
Adults. Its effects, though, go far beyond Uvalde. Mr. O'Rourke, I want you to speak to parents of victims and really all parents statewide.
And here's my thing about Uvalde. And I'm saying this because it's the truth. And I know this may offend some people, but it's the truth. Uvalde wasn't about the fact that the kids are dead, because there are kids that get killed everywhere. The problem with Uvalde and what people in Uvalde should be wanting to make sure that's changed is the protocol is followed. There's a protocol that needs to be followed. Do you realize that there could be another mass shooting in Uvalde at a Walmart tomorrow? There could be another mass shooting at a theater in Uvalde tomorrow. There could be another mass shooting at another school in Uvalde tomorrow. There could be another mass shooting at a church in Uvalde tomorrow. It doesn't make it any difference, the fact that it's in Uvalde and the fact that it's on the south side of Chicago. It shouldn't make a difference at all, whether it's 4 people that got shot or 43. One shouldn't mean more than the other. That's what it is. And that's the difference. Follow the protocol, and that's all you can do. Other than that, homeschool your kid. Because every day you step outside, you could potentially be a victim or be a witness to a mass shooting. But see, you ain't got to think about that when you don't when you live in that wonderful, nice, quiet neighborhood out in affluent suburbia. But when you live in Inglewood, you have to make that choice every day. Yeah. When you live downstairs from the trap house, when the trap house is upstairs and you got to go to school every day, you make that same choice every day. Yeah. See, this stuff, y'all, this is stuff they don't want to talk about here. Huh? How about the kids? They got to make that choice every time they walk out the door, even if they go into the corner store to get some food. to get their grandmama's medicine, or they got to go to the store just so that they can eat, or when they got to go to school, or they want to go to work, or they want to go to church, or they just want to go outside and play. I got to accept the fact that I could be shot playing in front of my house. I have to accept the fact that I can get shot sitting in my house. Oh, we don't talk about that part though, do we? Huh? See, it's really something when 44 people can get shot over the weekend in Chicago, and because it ain't in the good part of the neighborhood, it's just shrugged off and it's just accepted. See, it's really something when 106 people can get shot in the weekend in Chicago and they was all in the hood. We could just go ahead and look past that one, can't we? That's just how it is there. Oh, they're used to it. Ain't no uproar when that happens. And this is why when people come to me talking about gun control, when people come to me talking about defund the police, when people come to me talking about all that bullshit, wraparound services and crisis workers in the hood, you motherfuckers don't know nothing about the hood because you motherfuckers don't give a fuck about the hood. Y'all couldn't survive in the hood. It's 8 and 9-year-old kids that can survive way better than some of you grown 39, 40-year-old adults because of these circumstances that they have to live in, and y'all don't give a shit about that, even when they die. So when a motherfucker come to me talking about the 19 kids in Uvalde, yeah, well, I get it. It's called collateral damage. When you come to me about the 19 kids in Uvalde and you ain't talked about the 43 kids in Chicago, what we talking about? Because you ain't gonna get to pick and choose with me. You ain't gonna make no kids in Uvalde seem like they better than the kids that's in the Wild Hunters of Chicago. You ain't gonna make me. I won't take part in that conversation. I won't cry or feel more for those kids in Uvalde than I do for those kids that's on the Wild Hunters of Chicago, that's on the south side of Chicago, that's in the Artgale Gardens of Chicago, that's in Inglewood of Chicago, that's over on the east side of Chicago, that's in Princeton Park in Chicago, that's over in all of the hoods in Chicago. I ain't gonna feel sorry for those kids in Uvalde, Texas, and not feel for the kids that's in Chicago. Because unbeknownst to a lot of you motherfuckers, them babies in Chicago been dying a whole lot longer and in a whole lot greater numbers than them kids down in Uvalde. That's a one-time thing. How many more kids have died in Uvalde? Yeah. Let's just take the year 2020 kids alone in Chicago. Let's take just the 2021 kids in Chicago alone. Let's take the 2019 kids in Chicago alone, the 2018 in Chicago kids alone. Let's take them numbers and let's see how much press, how much demand for political change took place then. Right. 43 kids dead in Chicago and you got the mayor of Chicago talking about crime is down. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Exactly.
Boy, ain't no fucking way, boy.
So don't try to make it seem like them kids that's dying in Chicago is any less than, or don't deserve to be mentioned, or don't deserve to have somebody come and help them, rescue them, protect them, save them, when you so concerned about the kids in Uvalde.
Worried about their children's safety at school. What would you do if
I didn't see your
elected to
question.
prevent this
I
from
don't
happening
recall.
again?
You got to repost
You have
it.
60 seconds.
Just like you, I'm a parent. With Amy, we're raising Ulysses and Molly and Henry in El Paso, and we are well aware that it's been 18 weeks, and this governor has not lifted a finger to make it any less likely that any of our kids will meet that same fate. We need change. The governor just talked about mental health care. We are dead last in the nation when it comes to mental health care access, and he took $211 million from the mental health care budget of the state of Texas. He'll talk about police funding. He failed to fund the police radios in Uvalde, even when that police department asked for them. And you know what? Those radios failed on that day. I want every parent out there to know that the lives of your children are more important to me than the NRA or any special interest or any other political consideration. I will prioritize them ahead of everything else, and we will take action and we will make progress. We'll bring Republicans, Democrats, independents alike together, and we'll get the job done where this governor has failed to do so.
Now, if what he's saying is true, that's the first time that he actually responded with a question. I mean, responded the answer to the question. But let's see if it's true.
Governor Abbott, to you now. The families of the victims, the Uvalde School District, the Uvalde County Commissioners, the Uvalde City Council all asked for you to call a special session in the wake of the tragedy. You did not, despite calling them on several other issues in the past. Can you explain why you didn't call a special session? You have 60 seconds.
I will, but I must first respond to what we have to respond to every single day. Beto's campaign continues to spew lies and false information. He said two things that are completely false. He said that we're last in mental health care. The fact of the matter is Texas is now 27th in mental health care because of funding that I provided. Texas has provided more than $25 billion for mental health care in the last 3 sessions.
Bing bong. Lie number one. He said we was last. And we ain't first. And that's why I like the honesty. We ain't first. But the fact of the matter is, Abbott called him out and said, you lied. You full of shit. We ain't last. We 27th. What else do you want to say about that? To the tune of 22 billion? Come on here now. Come on here now. Largest state in the union, 22 billion. Hey, is there room to get better and to improve? Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. All I'm saying is, why lie? Make the point of saying, hey, we 27th and we should be top 5. Here's how. As opposed to say we're dead last and we're dead last because of him and his past 8 years. Why lie? Just as Will Smith said in that terrible acting movie, tell the truth. But you know what?
What the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Can't handle it. You just can't acknowledge what's actually real. You want to sell a dream. You want to gaslight and you want to fear monger. You want to make everyone afraid of what could happen and what is and say, I'll make it better when you don't have a plan and you don't have no information to tell me how. Let's go to the next part.
Also said that we did not fund police radios in Uvalde. Completely false. We provided $1.6 million for Uvalde alone.
Oh, he said we didn't buy no radios? Okay, well, I'm going to tell you right now, bucko. Not only did we provided 1.7 million for radios. But here's the thing, and I believe who put it in the chat earlier? I think it was Mr. Chow or somebody put it in the chat earlier. The radios wasn't a problem. Fucking Chief Arredondo was the fucking problem. Chief Arredondo was the problem. 1.6 million for Uvalde for radio. And look, and I'm telling you like this. That's not just buying Motorola radios. That's the entire infrastructure for the radios. Chief Arredondo was on his fucking cell phone. How about that? Oh, Juan said that. Thank you. Juan said it. Robert Francis. Bobby O'Rourke. It wasn't a thing of there were no radios. The radios were there and they were funded. He left his radio. It's like if the state, we're talking about the state provided 1.7 million for radios. What else do you want me to do? It's only 6 of y'all. I think the entire department was maybe 6 people or 8 people total. What else do you want me to do? What else do y'all want me to do?
Their police radio systems since I've been governor. So Beto continues to provide false information. What I want to make sure that the leaders in Uvalde know is, as we've shown, we don't need to call a special session. in order to take action. For 6 consecutive days after the shooting took place, I issued directives to make schools safer and respond to the emergency in Uvalde. And then I remain engaged with the mayor, with the local leaders.
It could have been worse. That's what.
Right. She said they pocketed some of that money or the money's not accounted for. Here's my thing. If it's that big of a deal, if you're saying the radios were a point of contention, if there's $1.6 million and $1.7 million spent on radios, whatever the number was, then why not say, well, what is it about the radios? Let's audit the spending. Let's audit what they did with the money for those radios. If that's the case. If that is the case, if that's your point of contention, and say, well, if they had radios, this wouldn't happen. Bullshit. I don't need no radio to follow protocol. There's no need for a radio doing an active shooter protocol. But my thing is, I would say, well, who's the company that provided the radios? Who set up the infrastructure for the radios? Who's providing the day-to-day support for the radios? Where's that money at? Who's spending it? Who's doing it? Is it some local company or is it some major Fortune 500 company doing it? Is it somebody who got their own tech company doing it? Who's actually providing this service that we gave $1.6 million for? Y'all let me know.
You told those families, that's what you told that community, and you have done nothing to help them. Ask
Mr.
them
O'Rourke,
yourself,
Mr. O'Rourke,
Mr. Governor,
Mr. O'Rourke, we're not done with this topic yet, so you will have your say. But Governor, I want to follow up with you. There's a regular session coming up in January. Will you make school safety an emergency item for lawmakers when they meet? You have 15 seconds.
Absolutely.
He answered the question right off the bat. Absolutely. And I didn't need to call a special session because I was already making shit happen. I don't need to gather everybody together and bring everybody together to talk about the shit that we know we need to do. Off the bat, we knew there were things that needed to be done instantly. How about this, though? Had these motherfucking officers followed protocol that they had just been trained on, that they're trained on every year for, had they just followed that, we probably wouldn't even be in this bad of a situation dealing with this situation the way it's being dealt with. How about that? And that's what the parents and the people of Uvalde should be more upset about.
Just like I did in past sessions. This is going to be an emergency item. Over the summer, I requested special legislative committees to begin working already so that they will have ready when we begin the session to address Uvalde, but the broader-based issue across the entire state of Texas,
if it's an emergency,
as you
call
mentioned
a special
earlier.
session now. Why wait till the next year?
Mr. O'Rourke.
Because he's saying he wants to have everything prepared now for the session. Why would you need to put any? And I don't understand that. So if somebody can educate me on that, on what the emergency session would be and how that would help something when he's actually taking action and putting shit into law. Why would you need to do that? Bowana Foundation said Abbott is not a good governor. Let's be real. Here's my thing. If he is a good governor, if he isn't a good governor, I would say this. Tell me in what area does he need to be better, and tell me how you would think the person who's running against him is going to be better. What track record does Beto, Bobby Francis O'Rourke, have as being governor? What track record does Bobby have of being a good politician, period? And I'm not here to defend either one of them. I'm just telling you flat out the answers that we're getting compared to the questions. So if one isn't better than the other one, then why would you not just say, hey, until we get a better candidate, the person who's actually saying and can answer a question directly and actually is doing something to rectify the problems or the issues, whatever's going on, that's what we got to roll with. There is no perfect politician. I don't understand why people look for this and try to make it seem like, that person ain't no better than that person. Yeah, but the point is, who's actually running the office And if you want to compare what it is that they're doing or what they're not doing or what they should be doing, that should be your point of contention as opposed to making this statement, because people have said this about politicians all for decades, eons. That person ain't no better neither. It's the lesser of two evils. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Barack Obama wasn't no better president than George W. Bush. Junior or senior. They both politicians. You can't tell me shit that motherfucker did better than the other one before him. But I can clearly point out some of the things that Donald Trump has done that bettered my life and bettered the country compared to both of those assholes put together. It's like being bad, really bad, kind of bad, sort of bad. The point is, you're bad. You're not good at your job. The person who shows up an hour late for work and the person who shows up 2 hours late for work, really, we're going to compare that? Well, look, I'm going to write you up. You was an hour late, but I really got to write you up because you was 2 hours late. No call, no show. Really? What? What? My voice ain't right yet. It's like, what the fuck are we talking about? It's like we try to find fault in every politician, but we don't come with the actual solution to say, hey, here's what this person should be doing. We all about our feelings. Look at the person and the job that they're doing and how it's benefiting the person they're essentially supposed to be serving, the people. The people, as Bane would say.
A question for you now.
Gun violence is a leading cause of death for children and teenagers in this state. Why are you waiting to save lives?
We need to move on.
Why are you waiting to save lives? Show me where lives would be saved if I raise the age of an AR-15 to 21, sir. You can't. You can't.
We've got a lot of topics we want to get to, but we want to stay on Uvalde because there's still some questions that we have here. So I appreciate you staying within your time. Mr. O'Rourke, Uvalde School District Police Chief Pete Arredondo, who led the initial law enforcement response at Robb Elementary, was fired. Is there anyone else who should be held accountable for the mistakes made in that hallway in Robb Elementary that day? You have 30 seconds.
The governor said it himself in an interview to Gromer Jeffers last month. There should be accountability up and down the ballot, beginning with Greg Abbott. I think he has lost the right to serve this state in the most important position of public trust.
This motherfucker just said that the governor should be held accountable for how Uvalde was handled, for the mistakes of Uvalde. I would love to have him at least point out what the governor had to do with the mistakes of the Uvalde Police Department. I would love to know that. Tell me how the accountability starts with him.
Furthermore, we know that there were 91 DPS troopers for whom he is responsible who were on the other side of an unlocked door, some for more than 70 minutes. There is a complete failure to hold people responsible accountable. Those families still do not have justice. As governor, I will make it my priority.
What else can you do? They didn't follow protocol. You're either going to fire them or you're going to fire them and charge them for not doing their job. What else can you do? But it sounds good. He just said accountability. What does that entail? Am I going to lock him up? Fire him? The whole department's been suspended already, so what else can you do?
Thank you, Mr. O'Rourke. Governor, now to you.
There was it. Go ahead.
I'll give you 15 seconds if you want to respond to what he said.
I was going to answer the question. thought you were going to ask me. But
I've got another question
Okay.
for you. Right after the shooting, you said this.
But the reality is, as horrible as what happened, it could have been worse.
It could have been worse. You heard
Sure.
Mr. O'Rourke bring it up. You later said you were misled about what happened inside Robb Elementary. If my memory serves me right, that was the day after. So we were just moments after what had happened.
Yep.
Who misled you, and will they be held accountable? You have 30 seconds.
Everyone in that briefing room that provided me the information about what law enforcement did, what that comment was based upon was information by law enforcement about all the children in all the other classrooms that they evacuated during the time when the shooter was on the campus. What they did not tell me at the time, however, was that there were dozens, if not more, of other law enforcement that were hanging around in the hallway for over an hour.
Bam. Pertinent information. And just like when this shit happened, when it all went down, that was one of the biggest things and one of the biggest points of contention. And that's why I'll take credit for that. That's why I didn't say nothing about this shit until I saw that fucking video and saw what the fuck really happened. And once we found out what really happened, I was on it. I was on it. Everybody on the internet, everybody on YouTube was, Brandon Tatum, was all talking about how these officers did their job. They did the best they could do. And we don't know nothing. We don't know nothing about what these people did. We don't know nothing about being the police. Aha, but I do. I had the training. And I said what it is that I said from the beginning all the way up to today. Those bastards didn't follow the fucking protocol. And because they didn't, that's why we're here in this situation with 19 dead. Could have been 18, could have been 17, could have been 16. Hell, it could have even been 6. Could have been 3, could have been 2. I don't know. My point is, the fact that it was 19 is a direct correlation as to them not following protocol. This ain't no gun thing. It's a protocol thing. Because that dude would have walked in there like the somebody put in the chat earlier, like the dude over in Asia. Was he in Thailand or fucking? I think it was Thailand, where he killed the adults in the daycare and then killed all the kids. 22 motherfuckers. Knife, no gun, no AR-15. So what you gonna do over in Thailand? Ban all knives? That's what we gonna do? That's what we gonna do? We gonna ban all knives? Huh? That dude went in there single-handedly and killed them adults. He killed the adults and killed 22 motherfuckers in there. With a knife.
Without engaging in Columbine protocol and going in and immediately
or shock the adults and
removing
stab
that
the
shooter,
kids.
which is what they were supposed to do. And because they failed to do that, there does need to be accountability, not just for Pete Arredondo, but also for local law enforcement. DPS officers are under investigation as we speak right now. There needs to be accountability for law enforcement at every level for not following the Columbine protocol.
You will be sure to hold DPS troopers accountable.
Yes,
as governor.
in a word, yes. But second, there are at least 7 who are under investigation as we speak right now, 2 of whom are on suspension as we speak right now. And so I expect DPS officers and law enforcement across the state to follow the Columbine protocol.
Governor, the buck stops on your desk. You blame everyone else. You blame Joe Biden for other issues.
We need to move on.
You
we
blame
need to move
people
on
for misleading
topics.
you.
And actually,
You are misleading this state.
Sally will ask the next question.
I do, and I think you're both going to want to talk about this next topic. It's the topic of abortion. A recent Next Star, Emerson College, and the Hill poll shows more than half of those polled say they are more likely to vote in this election because of the overturning of Roe versus Wade. You both are very outspoken on this issue, but what I want to do tonight is really drill down on specifics. Governor Abbott, you recently sat down with my friend Gromer over here and you talked about what women can do if they are victims of rape or incest. And here's a clip of that interview.
Those victims can access health care immediately as well as to report it. Both of those have very meaningful consequences. By accessing health care immediately, they can get the Plan B pill that can prevent a pregnancy from occurring in the first place.
Some healthcare advocates say emergency contraception like Plan B is often unavailable, or it's too costly for women to afford. And trauma could prevent them from taking emergency contraception in the time frame that it's effective. So, Governor, we're going to start with you. With these concerns that I just laid out, is emergency contraception a viable alternative to abortion for victims of rape and incest? And you have 60 seconds, sir.
Sure. So to directly answer the topics that you raised, on the availability of it, it's incumbent upon the state of Texas to make sure that it is readily available for those who are victims of sexual assault or survivors of sexual assault. The state of Texas pays for that, whether it be
Bing bong.
Bing bong.
And here's my thing. I'm all for if you get pregnant by rape, incest, I get it. And you should be able to choose, have your rights to choose, as long as you file a police report. You file your police report against your uncle or your cousin or your brother that done raped you. You file a police report about the person who snatched you up off this corner and pulled you into an alley and had his way with you. File a police report, you absolutely can. Absolutely can. You'll get your Plan B, and you get to choose. If the Plan B don't work, then you get to choose. You get to have your abortion. What's the problem? You know what the problem is? Because you're trying to make it seem like everybody that has an abortion is rape or is incest, and that's not even true. It's upwards of 85% of the people that have abortions are having it just because they're sexually irresponsible. There's no way in today's world with over 35, 40 different variants of birth control that you should still be getting pregnant and having an unwanted pregnancy. There's no way. There's no way in today's world you should be having a problem or having issues with unwanted pregnancies with all of the different forms of birth control. Just saying. It makes no sense. And I don't understand why every time this conversation comes up, that's a point of contention. Well, what about those that get raped and those that are incest? Okay, the what? 3%? Fine. You have those. You file a police report so we can lock up the person that obviously has committed a crime against you. They need to be brought to justice. So file that police report on your uncle. File that police report on your cousin. File that police report on your neighbor. Or file that police report on that unknown person. We do a rape kit, and there you go. No problem at all. Other than that, you bullshit.
At a hospital, at a clinic, or for someone who gets a prescription because of it. And so not only should be readily available, but the state of Texas is going to pay for it to make sure that it is available for them.
But Governor, 30 seconds, or I'll give you 30 seconds to answer this one. I still want to know, is Plan B the alternative when it comes to somebody who is pregnant from rape or incest?
Well, it depends on what you mean by alternative. An alternative, obviously, is to do what we can to assist and aid the victim, and that is to help get them medical assistance that they need and the care that they need, but also to know what their options are. They're going to know that the state, through our Alternatives to Abortion program, provides living assistance, baby supplies, all kinds of things that can help them. Also, we've increased funding for prenatal and postpartum care.
Thank you, Governor. Mr. O'Rourke, we're going to stay on the topic of abortion here. Governor Abbott has said that you support abortion on demand. Do you support any limit on when a woman can't have an abortion? In 60 seconds for this question.
This election is about reproductive freedom. If you care about this, you need to turn out and vote. I will fight to make sure that every woman in Texas can make her own decisions about her own body, her own future, and her own health care. And I will work with the legislature and my fellow Texans to return us to the standard that Texas women won in the first place, Roe versus Wade. That's the standard that answers your question. But I've got to respond to this silliness on Plan B, this comment he made about eliminating rape in the state of Texas. This is an attack on women. More women have been raped in the state of Texas than any other state. There are 3,000 untested.
I honestly just don't believe that. I honestly don't. Just because he lied earlier, I honestly just don't believe that Texas is #1 for rape. I'm just saying. Somebody can find the information to prove me wrong. Please do. I'll gladly accept it, but I just don't believe that Texas is #1 in rape. I just don't. Because of the source. He's a liar. Like, he will just say anything. And nobody will say, well, man, why would you say that? And that's not true. No one will say that.
Rape kits at DPS headquarters, meaning that our ability to bring rapists to justice has declined by half on this governor's watch. And it's arguable that rapists enjoy more victims because more rights under Greg Abbott than their victims do, because they can sue the families of their victims if they help their victim get an abortion and be able to win a $10,000 bounty in the process.
Thank you. Mr. O'Rourke, I'll give you a chance to respond, Governor. 30 seconds.
So once again, I'm going to be doing this a lot. I have to point out a misstatement by Beto. I signed a law that eliminated the rape kit test backlog at the Texas Department of Public Safety.
Come on, man. Come on, man. It's like he's literally just lying and nobody is saying anything about, like, dude, you just flat out lying. Like, stop it. Like, just stop it. Like, you're literally just lying for the sake of lying. Like, you're just trying to prove your point no matter what. You just...
There have been a lot of lies said around this dinner table here tonight, but that you can't believe.
Right, and then there we go. Thank you. That's why, man, that's why I love y'all. Alaska has the highest rate. So I guess Texas ain't #1 in that. Sorry.
As it concerns abortion, listen, Beto's position is the most extreme because he not only supports abortion of a fully developed child to the very last second before birth, he's even against providing medical care for a baby who survives an abortion. He is for unlimited abortion at taxpayer expense.
That's not true. It's completely a lie. I never said that, and no one thinks that in the state of Texas. He's saying this because he signed the most extreme abortion ban in America. No exception for rape, no exception for incest. It begins at conception, and it's taking place in a state that is at the epicenter of a maternal mortality crisis, thanks to Greg Abbott, 3 times as deadly for black women. I will fight to make sure that every woman makes her own decisions about her own body, her own future, and her own health care. That's what most of us, Republicans and Democrats in this state, believe.
Mr. O'Rourke, just in 15 seconds, is there a limit that you support on women getting an abortion?
That limit was decided in 1973 through a victory that Jane Roe and Linda Coffey and Sarah Weddington won before an all-male United States Supreme Court. I want us to return to that. It was the law of the land for nearly 50 years until we had the most extreme abortion ban in the country.
Grover has the next question.
Thanks, Sally. Let's move to law enforcement. Mr. O'Rourke, you have been accused by Governor.
Wow, I got to acknowledge that. All that remains, and Mr. Maxwell said Texas ain't even in the top 10 for rape. But he said we was #1. All right, man. All right. Okay, bucko. And my thing is this. If the majority of the people here, and I think it should just be voted on, say, hey, we ain't with that shit. I think that was why the Supreme Court turned it back over to the states, saying, y'all decide this. We ain't got no decision on this. Y'all decide.
Abbott of supporting efforts to defund police. He may have mentioned it tonight, actually. Here's a chance for you to set the record straight. Do you support measures to defund police? You have 60 seconds.
Of course I don't, and no one does. But let's look at my record. I think that's the best thing to look at, and then we'll look at the governors. On the El Paso City Council, I raised police salaries 12% in the 6 years that I served there. In Congress, I funded $11 billion to local and state law enforcement across this country, including in Texas. I want to fund law enforcement, fund training so that everyone is treated equally under the law. And I want there to be accountability for when those officers abuse the public trust. But let's look at what Greg Abbott's done. When police and law enforcement begged him not to sign permitless carry because it allows anyone to carry a gun in public without a background check, he turned his back on them, did it anyhow. Homicides have gone up 50%, and we now have gun violence as a leading cause of death for children and teenagers in this state. When the Uvalde Police Department asked for funding, he turned his back on them. He is not doing what keeps us safe. That's why you see the level of rape, violent crime, and homicide up on Greg Abbott's watch.
Just a quick follow-up, Mr. O'Rourke. Can you take 15 seconds to answer this? After the summer of 2020, did you voice support for cities that cut their police budgets? Minneapolis comes to mind. Did you support those efforts?
What I supported and what I continue to support is full funding for law enforcement. Full funding that includes training to ensure that we're treating everyone equally under the law. And we definitely need accountability and justice. If someone abuses the power of life and death over our fellow citizens, without accountability, we lose the ability to keep our communities safe.
Thank you, Mr. O'Rourke. Governor Abbott, you have spoken about the growing crime in Texas in your commercials and on the campaign trail. You've been governor for more than 7 years. So why is crime up? Don't you bear some of the responsibility for it?
So, great question. Let me first.
You have 60 seconds, by the way.
Let me reply, and that is, once again, Beto misleads by saying that we denied Uvalde Police Department any money. We've answered every call they've ever made to make sure they have whatever funding they need.
Yep.
And Beto clearly said that in response to Minneapolis, that he supports their idea of defunding and dismantling police. And I got to add this. He didn't say a word to criticize the city of Austin that defunded their police by more than $100 million. The law I passed, will prevent any city from defunding the police because in Texas, we support our law enforcement officers, period. The reason why there's been a rise in crime in some areas, Gromer, is because of another issue we're working on. And that's what's happening in Harris County and some other counties where in Harris County, they have these easy bail policies that Beto supports, which is cashless bail, that is letting dangerous criminals, such as people recently convicted of murder last year, back out on the streets now who killed a police officer recently in Houston, Texas.
Governor, take 15 seconds to answer this again. You've been governor for 7 years. Crime is up. Do you bear any responsibility for that?
So let me again explain what happened. In Austin, after they defunded the police, the year after that, they had the highest number of murders ever. In Harris County, where they have this easy bail policy, in the past couple of years, there have been hundreds of people killed by people let out on bail who had been previously arrested for murder.
Thank you, Governor. Our next topic comes from one of our viewers. Actually, Britt has more on that.
Yes, Grover, thank you so much. Candidates, I have our first viewer question for you. And just so you know, we use this as a jumping off point to then craft our own question for you. So here is Douglas Tyler out of Hayes County with his question. Douglas.
Governor, what steps would you take to ensure that there is not another ERCOT failure like we had during the winter of 2021? How would you increase the generation capacity and reliability? Is it time for Texas to face reality and join the rest of the country in the cooperative grid system?
Okay, clearly Douglas asked a lot of questions about the grid. Many Texans have similar questions, so we're going to break them down one by one. And for that, I will send it back over to my colleague, Steve.
Thank you, Britt, and I want to thank Douglas for that question. And Governor Abbott, first for you. Following the outages in February of 2021, the legislature passed 18 different pieces of legislation aimed at improving the grid. An energy expert, Ed Hers from the University of Houston, said last month, quote, "No question the grid's better than it was at this time last year. The governor says it's never been more reliable. But if you're getting up off the floor, any kind of movement is better than what it was," end quote. Governor Abbott, what do you make of that assessment of the state grid? Are you confident in its reliability? You have 60 seconds.
Very confident. And in fact, I even guaranteed the power would stay on before we faced that winter afterwards. When Beto was campaigning saying that the grid was going to fail in the winter and summer, his campaign hopes fell apart because the laws that I signed did secure the grid. Ever since I signed those reform laws, no Texan has lost power because of the Texas power grid. And know this, Steve, and that is this summer we set 11 new all-time records for heat. Time and again, the power grid was able to keep up, and it's because of the reform we were able to make. And so the power...
Shit, sorry. I said, I will say this. There are places in Texas, the infrastructure here sucks. Power, internet, whatever the case may be, there are places in Texas right now that you can go to where you get homes that will range in housing complexes anywhere between $300,000 to $600,000, and they don't have fucking high-speed internet. That's unacceptable. That's infrastructure. That's the grid and all of that shit. That's a bunch of bullshit. There's no way a state this big with these types of resources to have shit like no high-speed internet. I ain't talking dial-up. I'm talking cell phone tower internet. The shit I get on my phone, I gotta buy internet service through a fucking Verizon tower. Unbeknownst to me, I actually have moved into one of those fucking areas, and I gotta go there, and I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to do my fucking show from this house we just bought because of the fucking internet. That's unacceptable. I don't give a fuck. There is no excuse for that. I don't give a fuck what they say, how, who, what. If you have an area where there's a new housing development that's been built within the last 20 fucking years, there should be high-speed internet put in there. And the areas that don't needs to be a priority to have high-speed internet put there. Cell phone service sucks. Fucking no high-speed internet. What the fuck is going on? But I'm paying motherfucking $400,000 for a fucking house? Are you fucking kidding me? I'm paying $800 in fucking HOA assessment fees every year? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, but I can't get internet, high-speed internet. I can only get 25 megs from motherfucking T-Mobile. That's unacceptable. So I will definitely, first person who asked that question, I would definitely get with that person and say, yeah, that's bullshit. The fact that you got a place like Texas that got all of this fucking heat and air conditioning and all this shit, everything's electric, and to have an electric grid as subpar as it was, man, please, that's bullshit. All of the fucking fees and shit you gotta pay, the cost of power here, all of that shit. It's too much fucking money being spent, and it's too much fucking money being made to where people don't have a stable grid and fucking high-speed internet. That's fucking ridiculous. So to that respect and in that regard, Greg Abbott, fuck you. You bullshit. There's no way I would have a AT&T, a Spectrum, or whoever motherfucker y'all gonna do business here. Y'all better motherfucking hook up every goddamn subdivision, area, housing development. Every last one of them better have internet here. Hire the people. I don't give a fuck what you gotta do. Get motherfucking some internet over here. Paying all of this money in this fucking nice ass fucking neighborhood, and I don't have internet. What the fuck are you talking about? Every time it rains, the fucking power goes out. What the fuck are you talking about? And then when they get hot as fuck, you the first person talking about, y'all need to turn your AC down. Boy, please.
Grid remains more resilient, more reliable than ever before. To go ahead and answer Douglas's question, which we appreciate, one reason why it's more reliable is because we have greater power available to us and a greater ability by the Public Utilities Commission to address it. But also, we are going to be adding more non-renewable power, such as natural gas, to make sure that the power stays on.
Thank you, Governor.
So yeah, we can all agree on that. That motherfucking grid is whack as fuck, shawty. The whole infrastructure shit here is whack as fuck. And the other thing too, as far as the infrastructure, it take a motherfucker 10 years to build a goddamn highway here. Being in the DFW, boy, these motherfuckers have been working on the same goddamn highway. I've been here 4 years. And in the DFW, they still working on the same goddamn highway that they've been working. It don't take 4 years. They started it before I got here. And the motherfucker still ain't finished. I'm just saying. Motherfucker in Chicago, them motherfuckers are going overturn and resurface a whole goddamn highway overnight, nigga, in a week. They did the Dan Ryan and resurfaced that whole motherfucker in 2 weeks. And then it took y'all motherfuckers 7 years to build a goddamn new expressway here. Boy, please. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no fucking way, boy.
Mr. O'Rourke, same question. You know, there hasn't been any major issues with the grid, with outages since the winter of 2021. What do you make of the changes that Governor Abbott and
AI Flux said, I think it hasn't been maintained properly. It's not about, it's bigger than the maintenance. It's the upgrading. When you, the fact that, because the problem that happened, that occurred with those power lines when we had that shit in 2020? When the motherfucker, when it got cold, is that those lines snapped. They broke because of the frost, the ice that got on the lines. That's having old ass lines. Your lines wasn't weatherproof. They wasn't the new shit. That's the type of shit that you need to beef the fuck up. Those are the type of things that require upgrades. When you got a $28 billion surplus, maybe you should put a few billion towards upgrading the infrastructure, especially for your major city areas. First and foremost. So maintenance included with that, that's still upgrading your shit. Them motherfuckers had them same lines that was here in the fucking 80s was still up now. That's bullshit. Or 90s, whatever the fuck. They was old as fuck. And that's why when that cold came in, them motherfuckers broke like pretzels. So that's bullshit. You know good and goddamn well, not to say that you expected a cold like that, because they even said it. It ain't been no snow or no cold like that in Texas in over 50 years. Fine. Point of the matter is, you need to make sure that shit is upgraded on a consistent basis every 10, 15 years, just to make sure when some shit like that do come down the pipeline, you not caught with your pants down. We get caught with our pants down. Them motherfuckers didn't have water. Motherfuckers, all kind of shit was fucked up. And it took them motherfuckers weeks to get that shit back together. That's not, no, ain't no way, boy. Texas is too big to fail like that. Just like the banks can't fail, Texas was too big to fail like that. All these motherfucking, and I'm telling you, and the other reason behind that too, because Texas is so big, all that motherfucking money they charging your ass for electricity, man, please, fuck out my face. Get y'all ass up there on them lines. Well, it's cold and we try. I don't give a fuck. You don't give a fuck when my motherfucking bill come every week, every month. You charge me what the fuck you charge me? Get your ass out there on them lines.
the legislature put in to make the grid more reliable? They say more reliable. What would you do differently? You have 60 seconds.
Governor Abbott's grid failure is part of a pattern over these last 8 years. Warned about, for example, school violence and gun violence specifically against children, does nothing. Warned about problems within child protective services.
What would you do differently, Bobby? Jesus Christ.
Foster care program does nothing, and it gets worse. Warned before February 2021 that we had problems in the grid, he did nothing. When the blackout started, he ordered the price of electricity pegged at its highest allowable rate. Gas started trading at 200 times what it had sold for the day before. Now we are all paying $45 more on average in our monthly utility bills. It's the Abbott tax that all of us pay. 700 of our fellow Texans lost their lives because of his incompetence and his inability to do what was necessary before February of 2021. And the kicker is the grid is still not fixed. Just ask Toyota. They stopped their third shift in San Antonio because it was drawing too much power. We had 3 conservation notices this summer. We are not ready for this next winter. We need a governor who's going to do the right thing.
What would you do? Didn't answer, did he? Nope. What would you do? He said nothing.
Thank you, Mr. O'Rourke. Governor, I'll give you 30 seconds.
Sure. All Beto does is fearmonger on this issue, when in reality,
he's right.
The grid is more resilient and reliable than it's ever been. I do want to respond to the price.
And here's my thing. It ain't the fact that he didn't say, yeah, our grid is state of the art. Our grid will never fail. He said the grid ain't going to go down like it did, motherfucker. And our grid is better than it's ever been. So, yes, we fucked up. But it ain't like we done left the shit like that, and that's just how it is. Because like I said, shit ain't went back down, and until it do, you really can't say shit. You can talk about what the fuck happened when it did go down. Oh, yeah. But until it go back down and fails like it did before, what else can you really say? I don't give a fuck that Toyota had to cut their third shift. Fuck Toyota. Man, please. As long as I ain't got to cut off my AC and my shit is still running, my internet is up, I can turn on my PlayStation and it work. Boy, please. I don't give no fuck about no Toyota.
It's because, importantly, Texans need to know this, and that is, after Uri, after the reforms that we passed, Texas has one of the lowest electricity prices in the country, far below the national average, and less than half of what the electricity price is in California.
Thank you, Governor.
And I will say this too, because some people did, it was something that went wrong. Well, not wrong, but it was something that was fucked up about the energy thing, because people did have some high ass the people that were not on a locked in rate, I guess where it like fluctuated, they did have some insane fucking electric bills after that shit, when all that shit went down. But they did provide some type of support to where you could apply for some shit to get the shit paid off, or a big chunk of it paid off, or some shit like that. I don't know, but it was something that was real fucked up about that. So I'll say this, in as a whole, what the fuck happened in February of 2021, Abbott and them fucked up royally, plain and simple. It was a fucking shit show all the way around, and people died because of it. And I think that those fucking power companies, the motherfuckers that's responsible for the grid, whether they're a private company or if they state funded, all them motherfuckers need to be held accountable, and they need to pay some retribution or something, goddamn it, back to the goddamn people. Fuck that. That's just all right. That's just in all fairness. Fuck that bullshit.
It's one of the fastest growing costs in the state of Texas. And when you look at our higher energy bills, our higher property taxes, $20 billion more under Greg Abbott, you see that he's the largest driver of inflation in the state of Texas right now.
I'll give you 15 seconds, Governor.
Sure. So he just makes this stuff up because,
that's all fact.
Again, the reality is
that's all fact.
The electricity cost in Texas remains one of the lowest in the entire United States of America, and far lower than the national average.
Ask the people who are paying it.
Thank you, gentlemen. Sally has the next question.
Got to talk about education tonight, gentlemen, okay? There's a lot of teachers who are watching and who would like to know the answer to this next question. Texas school districts are hampered by an unprecedented teacher retention crisis. A Texas teacher workforce report reveals there were more than 13,000 new teachers in Texas for the start of the 2010-2011 school year. Okay, look at that number. Flash forward to the 2019-2020 school year. Less than half of those teachers remained. Former teachers cited everything from pay to burnout to safety as problems. Mr. O'Rourke, I want to start with you for this next question. How are you going to keep qualified teachers in the classroom when you have 60 seconds?
I mentioned earlier that Amy and I are raising our 3 children in El Paso, where they attend the world-class public schools there. And we know firsthand the important job that those educators do. And I want every educator out there to know that I've got your back. And I'm going to make sure that we pay you enough not to work a second or a third job. Because of Greg Abbott, our teachers are underpaid on average by $7,500 a year. I'm going to ensure that you have more valuable classroom time to connect with those kids. So we're going to stop the STAR test and allow you to focus on drawing forth that lifelong love of learning from every child before you. For our retired teachers, I'll make sure you have a cost of living adjustment every single year going forward. You haven't had one in 18 years, 8 of those on Greg Abbott's watch. And most importantly, I will treat you with the dignity and respect that you have earned and that you deserve. You sacrifice and give so much to our kids and to this state. We need to make sure we're holding up our end of the bargain. As governor, I will.
30 seconds to respond to this follow-up. You say that you do support teachers. Do you support giving them a pay raise if you're elected? And if so, how are you going to pay for that?
Absolutely, I want to give them a pay raise. I want to make sure, again, that they're not working that second or third job. What I propose to do, and there's Republican and Democratic support for this, is raise the state's share of school funding. Right now, we ask property taxpayers, the homeowners and renters out there, to shoulder the majority of the burden. I want to make sure that the state is shouldering its fair share. We do that. We can reduce your property taxes at home and provide more funding for our schools, increase teacher pay, and more per-pupil funding in every district in Texas.
Thank you, Mr.
She
Orr.
said
Governor
how,
Abbott, same question.
and he
How
didn't
are
say
you going to
shit.
keep qualified teachers in the
Right.
classroom is the question. Can you answer that for me in 30 seconds?
I
There you
will,
go.
But I got to say that raise the state share of education funding is exactly what we did both in 2019 and 2021. In fact, I provided more funding for education than any governor in Texas history. I provided more funding for teacher pay raises than any governor in Texas history. As we gather here tonight, Sally,
there you go.
the per pupil funding in the state of Texas is at the highest that's ever been. So we will work with the teachers to make sure. I created a new program. I can tell you about.
Well, I'll say this. Devin Morgan says state funding comes from taxpayers. Yeah, but no, because there's no state tax here in Texas. But in other places, absolutely. Where the state funding or the funding comes from here, it comes from the county taxes, your property taxes. The majority of it is property taxes. So it's like that's where they get all of that school funding and stuff like that. It's like a lot of that shit ain't coming from that's coming from the state. It ain't coming directly from like state income taxes, but because ain't no state income tax here. But I get what you're saying. Yeah. But he said he's raised it more than any other motherfucker ever. So it's like, I get it. I think teachers are fucking underpaid. I think the fucking school system in a lot of the way that our school system is set up is fucked up, which is why so many teachers are underpaid. Because all of the motherfucking administrative motherfuckers and the principals get all the goddamn money in the schools. Everybody else is getting fucking crumbs. It's like a fucking Ponzi scheme almost. Everybody on the bottom is in the classrooms. They getting the least amount of money, and all the money is going to the motherfuckers at the top of the fucking pyramid. They ain't even in the classroom. What kind of sense does that make? If every teacher is coming up with their own fucking lesson plans, if the curriculum and all that shit is already set, then why the fuck am I paying all this money to these motherfucking school districts where all these people that's in these fucking high-ass fucking positions that ain't in the classroom is getting all the motherfucking money? Makes no sense. Chicago Public Schools is a fucking champion at that shit.
I'm going to give you 30 more seconds. This is
Okay.
your 60-second answer. Go ahead.
I created a new program that provides a six-figure salary for teachers, more than $100,000. It was used very effectively and broadly in the Dallas County or Dallas Independent School District area, and it's catching on around the state. If teachers will dedicate themselves to be these master teachers, they will be able to earn a six-figure salary.
Educators watching tonight, 15 seconds or less, are you going to give them a pay raise if you are reelected?
Yes, just as we have given them a pay raise in the past, we will continue those pay raises going forward.
He's been governor for 8 years. They're still underpaid $7,500
Okay.
against their national counterparts.
I'm
Per
gonna give
pupil
you,
funding
let me give
is
you 15
$4,000
seconds.
down.
Go ahead. I'll give you 15 seconds, but we can't talk over each other. Go ahead.
Per pupil funding in this state is $4,000 less than our counterparts across the country. Educational attainment is at an all-time low pre-pandemic. In the average fourth grade classroom in Texas, most of those fourth graders could not read at grade
time is
level.
up, Mr.
We need to
O'Rourke.
get the backs of those teachers.
Time is up. We're going to go to Gromer for the next question.
Thank you, Sally.
Now, I agree with that if that's the case. But I guess my thing would be you can't just fix that with the wave of a magic wand and just say, okay, we're going to raise up $4,000 and we're going to add another $7,000 for all the teachers. If he's doing it every year, I mean, it sounds like it's climbing the stairway to heaven and you got to motherfucker take your time. But either way, like I said, and all over the country, when you're talking about public schools, that's what it is. Our whole entire school system as a country is fucked up. Our education system as a country is fucked up. So there's opportunity there, absolutely.
Yeah, the next two questions are personal questions directed to each of you only. There will be no opportunities for rebuttals. So let's start with you, Governor Abbott. University of Houston political scientist Brandon Rottinghouse said the following, quote, "In Texas politics, it's adapt or die. Greg Abbott didn't start his career as a right-wing Republican, but he certainly ended up there." Governor Abbott, you signed a law banning nearly all abortions without exceptions for rape or incest, and a law allowing the permitless carry of firearms. Critics, including some members of your own party, say you have moved too far to the right. Have you moved too far to the right, Governor? You have 60 seconds.
Well, let's look at the issues that you brought up, and that is, for one, as a Catholic, and my wife and I, we've been pro-life our entire lives, so much so that it grew even stronger when we adopted our daughter. On the day she was born, I was the very first person to hold her after she was born, and I've seen firsthand the power that adoption can have, and it just further strengthened my belief in the power of giving life to every child possible.
Shout out to Nikki, hit your boy with $5. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I want others to be able to have that same sense of joy, not only that my wife and I have had, but also that our daughter has had. In general, one thing that we've been able to achieve across the entire state of Texas, we've ensured that we provide opportunity for everybody. Government, as we gather here tonight, Texas ranks #1 in jobs created by Black business owners and jobs created by Hispanic women business owners.
Governor Abbott, just 10 more seconds. Have you moved too far to the right, though, in recent years?
And what I've tried to explain to you, Gromer, is that I'm governing from principles. I'm not looking at changing and constantly flip-flopping positions like other people do. I'm governing from my principles.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now here's my thing. He did a Bobby O'Rourke on that one, as opposed to just saying like, no, I didn't, or as opposed to saying, well, yeah, I think maybe I have. He came with some, well, I'm talking about governing from the principles, and then I'm just saying like, you know, so I'm gonna give Abbott his just due. Either you did or you didn't. Either you did or you didn't. That's all I'm saying. And my thing would have just been like, man, I'm all about doing the right thing. I'm not here to try to tell somebody who's left and who's right, who's more left or who's more right. I would have said, I'm doing the right thing. If you think that that's moving far right or you think that that's moving more left, so be it. What I'm doing is the right thing, what's best for the people of Texas. That should have been his answer. I should be in public office. Now, I'm too raw and too real for that. I can't, but it is what it is.
Governor Abbott. Mr. O'Rourke, you served as a congressman from West Texas from 2013 to 2018. Since then, you had a close but unsuccessful run for Senate against Ted Cruz in 2018. 2 years later, in 2020, you had an unsuccessful run for president. Now you're running for governor. Why have you run for so many different offices? Is it about ambition or public service? You have 60 seconds.
You know, I feel so lucky that through so much of my life I've had the opportunity to serve others. As a small business owner in El Paso, Texas, creating high-skill, high-wage, high-value jobs in our community. As a member of the City Council, as a member of Congress on the House Veterans Affairs Committee, delivering for those who put their lives on the line for this country, for all of us. It has been the honor of my lifetime. And now to run, to be able to overcome these failures that we see in Texas right now, whether it's a grid that doesn't work, teachers who are leaving the profession by the thousands, leading the nation in a number of school shootings, being able to deliver for people who are counting on us at this moment of truth to make sure that we
Why
come
have
through.
you run
And
for
it's
so
not just
many
me,
political
And it's not just
offices?
my political party. There are hundreds of thousands of people across the state of Texas who want change and are working for it. And it's my honor to be able to lead this campaign and to serve as the next governor of this state to make sure that we deliver for them.
Thank you, Mr. O'Rourke. Let's go back to Britt now for another topic inspired by a viewer question.
Yes, another viewer question for you tonight, candidates. And we did use this to then craft our own question as a heads up.
He said, why have you run for so many offices? And he never answered. And I'm telling you like this, you have got to acknowledge the fact that somebody who talks like that and like will not answer questions and will just talk about anything else aside from the answer, that's a dangerous person, man. That's a person you don't want in charge of shit.
So first, that initial question from a Nexstar News Nation viewer. It's from Missy Pena out of New Braunfels. Here's Missy.
What are your plans to help get mortgage rates under control and make sure that housing stays affordable for everyone to avoid the issues we had in 08, 09?
Okay, I ain't gonna go into all of that because I think that was like the end of it. But and it just in the sake of time, because we've been going live for quite some time now, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. And I'm just gonna say this, yeah, because I can't even see the damn clock now. Something happened and this shit died. It's a new computer time. But I'm going to run this commercial and then I'm going to say this. Excuse me. The race for governor is important. And I think that both of the candidates are politicians. And I think that when you're talking about who's better than the other, I would say you kind of want to just look at the overall track record when it comes to the success of what they've done in the past, and when you, especially talking about the incumbent, what the current state of affairs is right now in Texas. And when you're talking about Texas and just how well Texas is doing, I moved here. Millions of other people have moved here just in the past 3 to 4 years alone. There's got to be something right about Texas to have this many people moving from all of these Democratic blue states to be moving to Texas, to be moving to Florida. So you can point out the flaws in Governor Abbott, and probably some of them will be correct and be accurate. And that would say that, hey, nobody is perfect, but when you're talking about the overall success, the overall progress, and just the overall profitability of this state and how well this state is doing, you have to give him credit for that. You have to. And it's like when you look at who his opponent is, as far as Beto, Bobby Francis O'Rourke, a dude with an American Irish name, but is using a Hispanic nickname. I don't see where this person would be able to earn anybody's vote. I just don't see it. I don't see his track record in the past. I don't see anything that he's done. I don't see in the way that he speaks. He's not a person that is even inspiring. He doesn't even speak in a way to where he even sounds like he has an idea of what to do. But I don't get the fact that people are like even considering this dude for governor. You want to get somebody else, you think you can find somebody else better than Abbott, by all means, put him up, put him on the table. But why you would pick this guy, I don't get it. I think he's a bad opponent. I think he's a bad candidate. I think he's inexperienced. And I think the last thing that he needs to be trying to run is an entire state, and one of the best states in the union at that. I just don't think he's qualified. I don't think that he's honest. I don't think that he can even be able to tell the people what he's doing, because he don't have an idea of what he's doing. Clearly in the debate, he spoke several times and never once said what his solutions are, what he wants to do, and how he's going to do it. He just talked about finding solutions, bringing about change. Yeah, but how? What are you going to do? And I think that's problematic. And it makes him look like the bad candidate that he is, which is why he couldn't beat Ted Cruz, which is why he couldn't beat Donald Trump, or whoever else ran. Not Donald Trump, but the reason why he couldn't beat the people who ran Biden, or he couldn't beat any of the Democratic presidential candidates, he couldn't beat them. He stands for nothing, and he says anything to get anywhere. All he wants is power, and that's dangerous. So I can promise you this, out of all of the text messages I've been getting asking for my vote for him, absolutely not. Abbott ain't no saint. Abbott ain't the new god of Texas, but he damn sure got to have some idea of what he's doing, and he's doing a better job than most. We one of the top few states, and we top 5 in the country. Only state you could probably arguably say is doing better than us is maybe Florida. And I'm suspect at that. I think DeSantis is a great, is a very, very good governor, but Abbott ain't too far. Just saying. Just saying. So it's like, I know they got a lot of people that's up and trying to get this position and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not just going to vote for anybody, because I'm telling you like this, just voting for anybody got y'all Joe Biden. And you want to look at our president right now today and compare him to the president that we had, hey, man, it speaks for itself. It speaks for itself. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I appreciate you all. He said, Nickel, the City Don, thank you for the donation. He says, where's time? Hey, man, we sure do, man. Just keep praying for the brother and keep hoping that he going to come back sooner than later. That's all I can do. And that's all I can tell you all to do. I definitely wish my brother nothing but the best in life. I miss my brother, and I pray for his return when he is ready for him to do just that. And I'll be right here to support him. So I would suggest that's what everybody does. It's like, that's just what it is, and that's where we at right now. Make sure that you join his OnlyFans so that when he does come back, I'm sure that'll be one of the first places he goes live, and you'll be able to see him when he does come back. So there you go. But thank you all for tuning into the show tonight. I really do appreciate you guys. This was a good show. I apologize again for being a little bit under the weather still, but I definitely had to do a show tonight. I'm going to try to do as many shows as I can for the remaining days of this week, because I know this weekend I'm doing a final move, and I don't know how the internet is going to behave at this new place, because like I said, we got ourselves a nice house, but I did not realize or even think for a second that a neighborhood this nice would have no fucking high-speed internet. So once I get everything set up, I'll try to see if, what it looks like. I'll do some test streams and see how it goes, hoping that maybe if I do something late at night or at nighttime when I usually do, that'll be good. If not, I'm definitely trying to get information to find out when high-speed internet is coming to the area. I've been working on that for the past 3-4 weeks, trying to figure that out. But I hope that that it works out, man. I really do. Yeah, I really do. But yeah, so I'll let you guys know how that goes. But I hope that that I'll definitely be able to do that and definitely be able to keep going live. I will be breaking down the studio probably on Thursday because we'll be moving over the weekend. But yeah, probably Thursday. I'm gonna probably do at least 2 more shows at least. So between tomorrow, Wednesday, and maybe Thursday, I guess, I want to try to get some shows done. So hey, because I want to do as much as I can. And then once I get the new spot set up, hopefully over the weekend, I'll get the studio set back up once everything is moved in and stuff, and I'll be back. But I just want to say thank you guys. I love y'all. I appreciate each and every last one of y'all. Until next time, peace, and I'm out.
What's going on, everybody out there in the internet world? It's me, Brian Redmond, also known as the Relationship Rehab, and I need you to do 2 things.
Shout out to
One of
Nickel
those 2
City
things,
Don.
subscribing to both my channels. I need you to go to the Relationship Rehab, subscribe to that channel, and then I need you to go to United Guns of America and go to that channel. Now you may be asking, why would I do that, Brian? Because it's 2 of the hottest channels on the internet. Come over there, give me your thoughts, give me your opinions, have conversations, because that's what it's all about. We talk about some of everything: politics, relationships, guns, law enforcement, community stuff, anything that's happening. I'm willing to have a conversation about it, so come on over. You don't got nothing else to lose, and you ain't got nothing else to do. So come to my channel, subscribe ASAP, and join in on the fun. Twice the entertainment, 2 channels, twice the fun. Come on and have a funky good time with your boy. Peace, and I'm out.